And we are live. Welcome to the Digital Renegade podcast. I'm your host, a dashing rogue, with my frequent sidekick, artistic layman.
We go now to the planet Heck, where evil the cat, foe of virtue, worships at the altar of vileness.
I'm just watching TV.
You there?
Same
Luke?
thing.
Yes,
I can't hear. I
can
can hear you. Yeah, we're ready.
so you didn't just hear that?
I heard a little bit of it was glitching out a bit. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here and there, but we're all good. You know, it's all good. But for those of you who want to know that I lost my privilege to be able to link shit in the fucking description because they don't like me linking stuff now because they think that I'm just a bad boy. I'm a very naughty boy. I'm not allowed to link stuff. Hello from the factory located deep within Silent Hill.
Oh, you can post stuff. You just have to have the condition of giving them your information.
They want me to dox myself, and the truth be told, it's not about me, it's about my ideas. It's about my ideas. That's what really should ultimately... Like the attention whores and the activists, the Tim Pools, these micro-celebrities, whatever you want to call them, they're shitting up the internet. They really are. I think Jiminy or Mr. Medicare or whoever, he had the right idea. Stay anonymous, let your ideas be a thing. And rather than you be one of these idiots, fame whores who want to basically just make a bunch of, how should we say it, a bunch of money reading off fucking journals, or not journals, not even doing journalism. Because they don't actually do journalism, Luke. They actually, how should we say it, they just read articles. I mean, Sargon of Akkad, by that definition, would be considered a journalist.
Yeah, who is it that pointed this out? That we always forget that the quote new age era news is always just derivative, just reading what other people have done.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going. That's pretty much. I don't know who said it, but that's pretty much where we're at. I mean, I'm basically doing the same thing, but I don't claim to be a journalist, right? And even then, I make it so that it's all about. It's not even about me. It's about the information. And if I have a take on something, I'll tell you about it. I'll make a video about it. So one of the things that I found that was very interesting. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody who's here in New Year. I guess 7. We had New Year 7 Electric Boogaloo.
Current year Electric Boogaloo, is that what it is?
Current year 7 Electric Boogaloo. Current year 7 The Revenge. That's what it is, because this is an election year, by the way, so we're going to have a lot of interesting things to talk about. But first, there is we're going to get into the deeper shit of it here. Here we go. By the way, welcome welcome Armored Ghost. Armored Ghost was really looking forward to this yesterday, but we had some issues, some technical mishaps. It's all good. It's all good. We're still good, but it's like the 10-second rule, right? You drops on the floor, it's still good. You don't have to worry about it. It's all good. Here we go. Put this into the description, because again, I could technically post stuff on YouTube in the description. I'm just not allowed to. Here we go. This is from Joe Blogs. Now, keep in mind, I want people to take a look into this. This particular issue. The Russians are not traditionalists. They're not trads. Actually, they are kind of trad. They're trad in the same way that the guy who went into Beckloff's server to confess his sins of putting trying to chain a girl to a fucking so she would love him or whatever the fuck it would be. And he was confessing his sins. That's the type of trad we're dealing with here. And here you go. Look. So apparently there was a Russian soldier who was taking aim at Putin, calling out the degeneracy in Moscow, the Moscovite degeneracy. There you go.
Joe Blogs. What's this?
This is another guy who has far more subs than I do, and at the same time, I found it very interesting because I wanted to comment, and my comment on this, you'll see. Here you go. Pull it up, Luke.
Let's see.
There we go.
Hi, welcome back to Joe Blogs. It might be party season, but President Putin is extremely unhappy about a party that took place recently in Moscow.
A star-studded, almost naked party at a Moscow nightclub has provoked an unusually swift and powerful backlash.
Wow, she is cute as fuck. She's like she's Soviet Zoe Quinn. Soviet Zoe Quinn.
Well, she's Russian, what do you expect?
Well, isn't like Zoe Quinn like Danish or some shit? Soviet fucking. We finally completed the collection. We have what's his name? Not Shoigu. What's his name? Prigozhin, who is Russian Beklov. We have Konstantin Malofeev, who is Russian Sargon of Akkad. Now we have Russian Soviet Zoe Quinn. We are slowly going full circle. Once we kill off our Soviet doppelgangers, we could be real people again. Here we go. Keep going.
Swift and powerful backlash.
The theme of the party was nearly naked. Guests obliged, arriving in lingerie, mesh and jewels, dancing under golden confetti.
Blogger Anastasia Ivleva organised the party in the heart of Moscow's nightclub district on December 21st. Partygoers showed up.
Oh, speaking of traditionalists, guess what I found out about the term traditional, especially in regards to fascism?
Oh, what?
Have you ever read Fascism? It's that essay that's people kind of use to say that everything conservative is fascist.
Yeah, apparently you told me about it. What did you find out?
Well, apparently the first line is people. The thing is, people online always have little taglines for the 14 points of fascism that come with it, and the first one is the cult of tradition. But the thing is, if you actually read it, he's talking about traditionalism, in other words, the ancient religion that connects all the other religions in a syncretistic way. And like, oh, well, then why doesn't people just say that?
Because they're idiots. Again, I've often said that the leftists are like fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog. They'll go like. They'll do that shit, and you're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And they'll never get to the point, right? It sounds like a party. Yes,
it sounds like I was kind of attribute to Alberto to Echo, the guy who wrote the article, something that's actually going to these activists, because I thought the reason why we can't understand what fascism is because there's elements of fascism that the socialists actually like, because the people who describe fascists to us tend to be very socialists, and that they can't really separate themselves from socialism because they kind of like fascism.
Well, that's because they want to be told where they stand in the pecking order. They crave that fucking stability that fascism gives them. They want to know that they'll work till the day they die in a factory, and that there's no chance for upper mobility. I mean, there's a reason why people like what the hell? Not Orange Julius Evola. What the hell is his name? Oswald. Yeah, I think it's Oswald Spengler. No, it wasn't Oswald Spengler. Who the hell was it? Francis Parker Yockey. Yeah, there's a reason why he said that the United States and the Nazis the neo-Nazis movement should align with the with the Soviet Union, because the Soviet Union was more traditional and it had more in common with the feudal system than it did with actual Jewish capitalism and shit like that. His words, not mine. Right. So honestly, the fact that Echo or Echo, whatever the fuck his name is, Ubitio Echo, it sounds like a fucking Italian name.
Well, yeah, he actually grew up in fascist Italy.
Yeah, but he sounds like an Italian exploitation film director, if that makes any sense.
And he looks like one too.
He does. He looks like Stanley Kubrick, the little fucker. Like Italians. I don't know. Do we get freaking Pedro Desolini or Pedro? Not Mussolini. What the fuck is his name? The guy who did Salo, right?
Oh,
that's what. Oh yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Urbuti Echo, whatever the hell his name is.
Which is unfortunate. Which is unfortunate because Echo actually had a very good point, because you read the points, if you read the article himself, you go, oh, that's actually kind of insightful. Although he kind of goes. The problem with his points is that they are too vague and they're too easily exploitable by people. But there's something true to them.
Yeah, exactly. There are those assholes out there who really want to return to tradition and basically shit in the outhouses and not have indoor plumbing because it's traditional. And now you know why that the Soviets pushed that shit in the Nazi movement? Do you know why? So then they could say that, oh, we're not modernists like those fucking capitalist pigs who have like fast food of every kind at a local restaurant. No. We actually shit outside. We don't have indoor plumbing or have access to electricity. We're checkmate conservatives.
Yeah, reading the doctrine of fascism itself is truly insightful, because you finally know what the heck they're talking about. Although I do think take history for finding out that fascism means national syndicalism, because once you do that, all of a sudden, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's what they're on about. Yeah, it all makes sense now. It all truly does make sense in the end of the day if you apply the proper terms with the proper information.
And not to get too Gnostic on me, but I finally figured out that I was always right all along, when the difference between us and them is that they're collectivists and we're individualists.
Exactly. They're the one like that. Like, here's the thing: you can't go too individualistic, right? You can't go too individualist, because that goes into egotism. That goes into like I'm a gender non-conforming starfish or something along those lines.
They're not doing that for ego purposes. They're doing that because they're part of they want relevance to their meaningless little lives as part of the collective.
Yeah. Or so they have to basically go full circle.
That's the indicator that I'm in the cult. I'm in the cult. Look at me.
Look at me. I am the real Homer. I am the real fucking Homer Simpson. I am the real proletariat.
Anyway, what would Putin do to this almost naked party?
Besides strip.
Half clothed or with barely anything on, with outfits made of mesh, lingerie, and other creative materials to strategically cover limited parts of their body.
The event defied President Vladimir Putin's growing calls for a socially conservative society. He recently outlawed LGBTQ activism while telling Russians to embrace traditional values and have 8 or more children.
Internal...
Traditional, whatever that means.
Yeah, again, fuck tradition. It's just it's like saying we want to have a living wage, right?
Well,
like what the fuck is a living wage?
Well, it's not that you can't F tradition exactly. It's just F traditionalism. But the thing is, people can't distinguish between the two, and so they use it as a proxy for it.
Exactly. And so, we're ending up worshiping our egos and worshiping ourselves and a bunch of other stuff. So it's a nightclub. Yeah, it's a nightclub, exactly. And Lord knows I probably would have liked a lot of their music because some of the chicks that I've talked to, they like their electronic dance music. And my God, I wish I could have gone to Europe and listened to like Cascada and like Ivan von Braun, or I'm trying to think of other techno artists and shit like that. DJ Taizo, that's what I would like to hear. So anyway, keep playing it.
And it's a Russian night party, and so barely naked Russian women in a nightclub. Oof, oh dear.
Oh, dude! Basically, you got to get their contacts for their OnlyFans.
Be still my aching heart.
Oh yeah.
Criticism has mounted about how a party of this nature could go ahead as Russians continue fighting on the front lines in Ukraine. Orthodox church officials, pro-war activists, and pro-Kremlin lawmakers have all denounced the scantily clad partygoers. Attendees are now facing legal action.
A video clip of Putin's spokesperson.
Well, they're not doing anything, so what's the deal?
Well, you have to understand, they did invite the little monkey man, so therefore it's bad. Because he wasn't allowed in the orgy, everything has to be shut down, because it just looks bad, right? Because
as a Putin would ever go to this party.
I don't know. I mean, you've seen him with Pussy Riot, right? You've seen him when the Pussy Riot feminists, like, raided his ass, and then he was, like, looking at these chicks. He was like, oh, look at this. Like, they were, like, bare naked and, like, naked tits with, like, markings and shit on it. Keep going.
Listening to an explanation from one of the stars who attended has been circulating online, and Russian media reported that troops fighting in Ukraine were among the first to complain after seeing the footage.
We are fighting here when we are rotting in the trenches. They have 23 million rubles, around $200,000. Yeah, so we actually, and the dollar's failing, right, Luke? But apparently, they have 23 million rubles compared to 200,000 pounds, right?
Well, I mean, the implicit argument is that we're fighting in this war. You have no right to be happy or have to go to a party while we're fighting in this conflict.
Yeah, while we're fucking having the roaring 2020s speakeasies, how dare you? How dare you? We're fighting in the trenches of fucking Verdun, right? Mm-hmm. Even though technically this is all Putin's fault. It really is Putin's fault. Just let these whores be whores. Keep going.
На жопе 23 миллиона. И они хвалятся этим. Это вообще как понимать?
And do you mean Comrade Putin, Comrade effing Sergei?
Товарищ Шойгу. Это как понимать? А? Мы что за этих сука в окопах сидим? Мы вот за этих что там воюем?
Partying free.
За этот собчак этого.
Although is he mad at Putin for letting this party happen, or is he mad for that the party exists? Like what is this?
He's pissed off because apparently Putin's granddaughter was there. His goddaughter was there in the party. Yeah, so Dixie Kong was there.
Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good optics.
It's again, if they just stopped with this fucking traditionalist shit and just accepted that you're degenerates just like everybody else, we would all go along with our happy way. But no, Russia has to literally save the goddamn world, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
God help us from the people who are trying to save us.
вашу родственницу.
The host, a well-known blogger in Russia, is now facing a multi-million-dollar class action for moral suffering.
So as you've just seen, the footage of this almost naked party spread rapidly, not just in Russia, but also to the front line in Ukraine, and caused a severe backlash among some of the people who've been forced to go and fight in that war. And as a direct result of that backlash, President Putin is now clamping down, not just on this party, but potentially on the freedom of speech and other rights within Russia. So in today's episode, I'll share with you the full video that was posted by the Russian soldier on Russian social media, and this has gone viral. Lots of people have seen it, which has really forced President Putin into taking some action swiftly, particularly as his goddaughter was identified by the soldier as attending the party. So we'll have a look at her involvement, and unfortunately, she was pictured with one of the most outrageous attendees who were...
Oh no, I can see it now. I can see Putin's face in that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Could you, like, look, she even has a fucking, look at her. She's dressed in, like, the most lingerie and all this, like, barely legal shit that would be allowed on fucking Instagram. And she's posting on her fucking iPhone 14.
Oh no, it's worse. It's dumber than that. She's wearing a color that's close enough to her, it's fully colored, but it's close enough to her skin that you think she's naked.
Jeez. This truly is the future that we're fighting for.
Russia's fighting for, I guess.
Well, they're fighting for so they could whore out their fucking. They're fighting for their girlfriend's OnlyFans account. That's what they're doing.
Went to the party wearing only a sock, and it wasn't on his foot. We'll then talk about what's happening to the organizer of this party, who's a very high-profile blogger in.
Very high profile.
She literally looks like Zoe Quinn. I kid you not. She like, I'm gonna find a picture. You just keep an eye on that bitch right there. I'm gonna find a picture. Keep going.
Actually, before we leave, I want to take a picture of this for reference.
Yeah, you fucking take a picture of it, not just for a reference, but for like research, right, Luke?
Of course, research, of course.
Just research, right?
I mean, I have to wonder: is this the result of her being fit, or her just not eating as much as Americans do?
Well, I think it's due to not eating the soy, if that makes any sense. But here you go, Luke. Here is Zoe Quinn, the literally who, and now we have our Russian doppelganger. I mean, look at that shit. You can't tell me that shit doesn't look similar. She's probably eating more bacon than Hormel, but come on, look at that.
But no, I have to say that she looks better than Zoe Quinn because of Zoe Quinn.
Yeah, because Zoe Quinn. Well, let's just say she's Soviet Zoe Quinn, right? Let's see. We have Soviet Sargon, we have Soviet Buckloff, and now we have Soviet Zoe Quinn. When are we going to see Soviet Sticks? Well, actually, Soviet Sticks would be fucking a Dugan, kind of, wouldn't he? I mean, they both have that fucking amazing fucking walrus mane, right? They all have the same. I mean, look at the fucking. You can't tell me that girl actually has the same freaking. That's a natural hair. You can't tell me that. It's the same fucking shit.
Well, at least I can believe the Russian girl has natural hair like that.
I don't know about that. I mean, the Russians are a dime a dozen. Anyhow, keep going.
We'll then go on to have a look at what the implications for the other attendees of this party have been and what their response has been on social media. And then finally today I'll wrap up with my summary. So what I think the wider implications of this story are for the Russian population. But before we get started on all of that, once again I'd like to say thank you so much to everybody that supported the channel. If you've sent me a YouTube super thanks.
Troops fighting in Ukraine were among the first to complain after seeing the footage.
После мобилизованный нахожусь на Донецком направлении под Маринкой. И что бы нам хотелось сказать этой власти? Вы посмотрите, какие ублюдки, когда мы там воюем, да, когда мы гнием в окопах, они, сука, носят на жопе 23 миллиона. И они хвалятся этим. Это вообще как понимать? Товарищ Путин, товарищ Шойгу, это как понимать? А? Мы что за этих сука, в окопах сидим? Вы нам ответьте, когда у нас конец срока? У зэков есть конец срока, вы милуете, сука. Убийц,
It's like every other word is a fucking cuss word, isn't it? Every other word with these fuckers is a cuss word. But we all know what happens when you say Shoigu's name out loud. You die in a freaking plane crash. So I guarantee you there's a reason why this guy is not just looking like he's from fucking Battlefield 3 with the little balaclava, right? He's doing it for his own protection. Because we all know this guy's going to fucking end up in a gulag or get shot in the back of the head and then blame the Ukrainian Nazis for it, right? That's what's going to happen. We all know it. That's how they do it in Russia. So, rest in peace by, well, actually, I could, keep playing it.
Уже 1,5 года здесь с мышами в окопах гнием. Когда все, сука, это закончится? Путин, где наша, сука, армия, про которую нам столько лет, сука? Мы вот за этих, что там, воюем, за этот Собчак, эту вашу родственницу.
Blogger and party organizer Anastasia Ivleva attended wearing jewelry worth more than $250,000 at a time when many Russians are struggling to get by.
In a previous video, Ivleva claimed the event was an opportunity to showcase photos created during her tenure as the chief
I'd buy her a cup
of
of
the now
coffee.
defunct.
I would literally buy this chick a cup of coffee and ask her how everything's going. Keep going.
Yeah. How many recent photos of Zoe Quinn still exist where she's still attractive?
Was she ever attractive?
I mean, she could at least try to be attractive, kind of like what was her name? Anita Sarkeesian could try to be attractive, but now the wall has hit her. Well, since Anita Sarkeesian basically hit the wall, I wonder if it's true for Zoe Quinn as well.
Jeez.
Russian edition of Playboy.
The anger is mainly directed at the host of the party.
But that's actually true for all feminists. Eventually, a point they just accumulate mass, and they just keep accumulating it.
They're like black holes, aren't they?
Anastasia Ivleva, she faces a lawsuit demanding that she pay nearly 10 million euros to an organisation supporting the conflict in Ukraine.
Almost immediately after the backlash started to appear about this party, the organiser posted an apology on Instagram. And this apology was a relatively relaxed general apology in which she said she would donate the proceeds of the second day of the party to charity.
Ivleva apologised via her Instagram page, posting a 21-minute video asking for forgiveness and a second chance.
The risk that someone would think of behaving this way wasn't foreseen and built into the planning of the event. I apologise to everyone, to society and to my guests.
She lives under the rule of Vladimir Putin. What did she think was going to happen?
Well, don't you know? We're not like those degenerate Americans who would crack down for having a Trump ball or something like that. I mean, it's not like they're living under Soviet communism run by a fucking KGB monkey man, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but this is what's going to happen. This is what I think would happen to the guy in the trenches when you call upon Shoigu, it's a death sentence for you. Here you go, Luke. Play this. This is what's going to happen to him. We're going to have a little monkey man show up right behind him, and this is how you die.
Oh dear.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. And who can say where love goes, as your heart shows, only time.
Poor little man. Well, that's what happens when you try to fight with the Eurasianists. When you try to stand up against the Atlantean supermen, right? Mm-hmm. Keep going. Back to the video.
Unwittingly became participants in everything.
So I think in normal circumstances that apology would have been sufficient and everybody would have moved on. But of course the fact that this party was linked to what's happening in Ukraine, the soldiers over there are seen as being suffering and giving up their freedom to fight for the cause of the Russian people. And so the contrast with this party was very stark at this time of year. And the furore and the backlash gathered pace. And as a result, Anastasia Ivleva posted another apology. And it's really interesting to note that the tone of this apology is extremely different to the first one. The second video posted by Anastasia Ivleva is very different in terms of its tone. In this one she states that she should be grateful to Russia and not have flown off the handle, and apologises profusely for her part in organising the party, and goes on to apologise for the hurt that she's caused by organising this party. And then in a bizarre twist, she says that Russia can forgive and asks everybody for a second chance, and then mentions that public execution in Russia has never been cancelled, and says that she will not dodge her punishment and is ready for any outcome, which implies that she believes that public execution is a potential punishment that she could be facing, which is a bizarre thing for somebody who's very high profile and posting regularly on social media in Russia.
But the Soviet Union fell, Luke. The Soviet Union fell apart. Like, why would you, what are you talking about? The Soviet Union fell. It's not like you guys kill each other. It's not like there's a fucking KGB operator in the fucking Kremlin or something. Wolfer and Prepper says, for some insight, morale and the war effort is extremely low in Russia, and they are cracked down on the media and protests to artificially keep support high. Wow. So it's kind of almost like who's gonna fucking be more authoritarian to actually win this war? You have a bunch of pussies in let's say the MAGA movement. And yes, there are MAGA movements who don't want the war in Ukraine because they think that their tax money is going to Ukraine. It's not. We've already sent them lots of stuff. Keyword is stuff.
Isn't that a proxy for that though?
No, but the stuff is
since we're sending them aid, isn't that just kind of a word for tax dollars?
but it's not tax dollars. It's actual physical stuff. What is being given, and where the tax money, where the salaries for training, let's say some of these troops would go. What the hell is that, Luke?
I love AI.
Oh,
God. In the prompt, I entered Vladimir Putin and draw this little circle, and it gets more and more darker, and so it just gets more and more exaggerated.
Vladimir Putin as a monkey. Keep going.
Oh, I wonder if it will let me draw that.
Vladimir Putin as a chimpanzee. Emphasis on the pansy part.
From that second apology is that firstly, we've got an individual here who realises that they made a massive mistake, that their career is going down the toilet. But not just that, it does look like somebody has had a word with her and put the fear of God into that individual, and she's now talking about the fact that she could be potentially facing the death penalty. Now, I don't think realistically that she is facing the death penalty, but in that video you could see that she is very concerned about her future.
She has since been axed as one of the public faces of cell network MTS. Tax authorities have opened an investigation that carries a potential 5-year prison term, and a Moscow court has accepted a lawsuit demanding she pay out nearly $11 million for, quote, moral suffering.
Moral suffering.
Oh dear, they got her.
Moral fucking suffering. You think about that. You think about next time the Bulbasaur decides to go fuck a redhead. Moral suffering. No, seriously. Like, this is a case in point that the Russians are no different than the Americans. The difference here is they try to act like they're not degenerates because I guess they have a KGB guy who cares way too much about what people think about him. Like, shitposting would probably keep Vladimir Putin up at night. Sadly. Keep going.
Oh, you know it does.
It does. A little control.
Wore nothing more than a sock and not on his foot. But the backlash was swift.
He was sentenced to 15 days in prison for homosexual propaganda and hooliganism, now forbidden under the LGBTQ plus propaganda law, which was passed by the Supreme Court in November.
That's actually stupid because I understand the sentiment, but I just wish we wouldn't be. We're in this position where I have to actually defend the LGBTQ community. It's like, oh, why are you doing this to me, Putin?
Well, here's the issue. The LGBT, WXYZ, and a silent Q community are being used as a cudgel to beat people over the head. You don't want to be like those faggots, do you? Do you really want to be like those people? Do you really want to be like those Pydors? Do you really want to be like those Pydors, Luke? You don't want to be like those Pydors. You don't want to be like that Pydor from frickin' the Ukrainian army. You want to be a man's man. And that's how these fuckers play. They try to play into the idea that they're traditional. They don't have running water, but their man's man knows how to get the frickin' the money. They know how to bring home the bacon.
And that's another thing. In the Urko's tradition of fascism, or like the 4 points of fascism. People point to the section of sexuality, but the thing is, when you actually read it's saying that fascists hate homosexuality and sexual liberation, but realistically, it actually says it hates all forms of sexuality that aren't like quote unquote natural, and from homosexuality to celibacy. So it's never, you can never be anything else except what the party decides for you to be sexually wise.
So they decided that the people who did not invite Little Monkey Man to the party are all faggots, and therefore he's going to have his own little party with blackjacks and hookers, and you know what? Forget the party. Keep going.
No hookers and no blackjacks. Forget the whole party. So.
Yep.
But Vasio has posted a public apology on social media, stating that he does not support LGBT and does not want to make any propaganda about this. He goes on to apologise for offending the feelings of other people and being a participant in such a terrible video at such a difficult time for Russia as a result of the war in Ukraine. And it would appear from his very uncomfortable stance in this video, there is a strong likelihood that he was directed to say this either by his management or potentially the Russian authorities.
At gunpoint, probably.
One of the highest profile guests at the Almost Naked party was Kassina Sobchak, a TV presenter and liberal Russian presidential candidate in 2018, who's considered to be President Putin's goddaughter after he attended her baptism and viewed her father.
Would you?
I don't entertain such questions.
I would ask her out for a Starbucks. I would ask her. I'd give her a frappe loca, if you know what I mean.
I don't know. I mean, if she's the goddaughter of Vladimir Putin, I'd be second guessing myself. I would be
having the hardest boner out there. That's like when you fuck the farmer's daughter. That's like the best ones you can go for, man. I mean, this is like legitimately like was it the Meet the Fuckers or you Meet the Parents? Like Robert De Niro is like an ex-CIA guy, right? In that movie. So imagine what would happen if you were dating the freaking president's goddaughter, right? He'd probably not just bug the wine, but he'd bug the entire fucking block to fucking find out if you're fucking her.
Oh dear.
Wolfram Pepper says, I'm anti-war and we are not in a position to fight anyone's wars for them. We are dying right now as a nation, and I'm ultimately be proven correct in this. I don't think. Oh, dude, Luke, you're giving.
I love AI.
Can you like do the Darwinian man of like Putin devolving into an ape?
That might be a little complex, but I'll try. I'll see if that works.
That would be beautiful.
Because if you're doing anything complex, you have to have multiple images, because otherwise the AI won't be able to process it.
He's slowly devolving. He's rejecting modernity and returning to monkey. Oh, let's keep going.
As his political mentor.
Russian rapper Vasio, who wore only a sock on his genitals, is seen in this photo with the phrase "ugly people are scared of beauty" written on his back. Beside him is Ksenia Sobchak, a renowned journalist and former candidate in the 2018 presidential election.
So obviously from Ksenia Sobchak's perspective, attending this party has been a horrible embarrassment. But there are now real implications for her, because as a result of the high-profile nature of her attendance, and the fact that she was specifically name-checked in the video posted on social media by the Russian soldier, it's extremely unlikely that President Putin will want to have any future association with her, and so there are potentially life-changing implications from her perspective.
A court verdict against the party said the event was aimed at propagating non-traditional sexual relationships.
Sponsors of some of Russia's best known.
Traditional sexual relationships.
Yeah, the kind where, I hate to be the guy that says this, but, sex is sacred. It just isn't sacred in the same way that Christians think it's sacred. So, like, temple prostitution and, polygamy were the norms. So this is technically traditional from the certain point of view. But you're never going to emphasize, what you mean by traditional, will you?
Nope.
Except what you define what traditional is, because you're a fascist fucker, aren't you?
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know how many things. Like, what is the actual metaphor in Brave New World?
They want to ban the orgasm or something.
No. In Star Trek, they do the same thing where they're trying to mind break the captain. It says, how many lights are there? And he says, there are 4 lights. What's the equivalent in the Brave New World? Like, how many fingers are we holding up?
Brave New World, I don't think they actually go to there. They just say, you're not happy, you're on drugs. That's basically
no. I'm sorry. Not Brave New World. I'm thinking the other one.
Fucking 1984?
Yeah. Like how many fingers am I holding up?
And 4. And if the party says 5?
No, the correct answer is I don't know. Whatever the party says.
Whatever the party says. That's you go full on freaking Forrest Gump. Whatever you tell me to do, sir. That's exactly what they want to hear.
Entertainers have torn up their contract.
This must be how the AI animation is happening.
Oh, gee. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few lives being born at that party anyhow.
Others have had their lucrative state TV airtime.
Well, I meant the images, the Darwinian images on the side, but yeah, I get that too.
Oh, okay.
It's cancelled, and President Vladimir Putin is reported to be unamused. Russian TV channels have been asked to cut out the celebrity's appearance in this year's New Year's Eve programs, a warning from the Kremlin to the art world. It prompted a series of apologies and excuses from the stars in attendance. Pop star Lolita Milievskaya said on Telegram that the event was an art exhibition. Another pop star, Philippe Kirkorov, said he was only at the party for 5 minutes and insisted he would not betray Russia.
How tall he is! Compared to fucking Putin, I'm surprised that they even look at that. How tall do you think this guy is? Like you and I are like 6 foot. How
we would tower over Putin, but still, we don't have the power. But Putin has the power.
I will pet Putin. I will fucking pet him. I will go like, nice boy, good boy. No wonder you're extinct.
There are moments in every person's life when they walk through the wrong door. In these difficult times, heroic times, an artist of my caliber, a national artist, cannot and should not be so...
I swear, as time progresses, Putin is proving himself over and over again to say, look, I don't care how disadvantaged I am, you will do as I say, and I'll do whatever I can to do it. It's like, ooh, this guy's terrifying.
Well, we now have fucking conservative Raffi now, apparently.
Oh?
Oh yeah, we have conservative Raffi. Look at this shit. We have more. I did not have conservative Raffi on my bingo, my Soviet bingo card. Look at that, Luke.
Wait. Oh, is that? Oh, what is this from?
This is from. He's a children's singer. He does Baby Beluga, Ring 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 Ring, Banana Phone.
Oh, I remember you now.
Yeah, I remember him. How can I not forget Raffi? Raffi was like the shit back in the day. Even fucking Simpsons, made fun of or parodied Raffi or homaged Raffi, right?
Which doesn't mean anything these days.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's classic, dude. Like, I don't even think Zoomers know who Raffi is. But I guess we have Soviet Raffi. So now we have conservative Raffi, who is the guy from America Uncovered, Chris Chappell, right? Now we have Soviet Raffi. This is good. Truly, this
So
is
irresponsible as to be involved in any events. I am an artist.
So that appeared to be a genuine apology from Philippe Kirkorov. However, in this clip, when he meets with President Putin's...
Yeah, that reminds me of that line from Dogma. I'm an artist, stupid. I was inspiration. A muse has no place in battle. Like, oh, wait. I belong to Putin.
Yeah, well, Elvis was an artist, and he fucking served. You know?
Yeah, although in this context, I don't know.
I don't know.
Spokesman Dmitry Peskov. He says that he only stayed for 5 minutes at the party. As soon as he saw that it was an almost naked event, he decided that it wasn't a good idea to stay. However, the footage that we've seen in today's video doesn't really back that story up.
Go back. What did he say? I went for Dolce and Gabbana and Bell. Oh, you like? Oh, you double devil. You like him young, and one. He looks like somebody who would be on fucking Epstein's fucking island. He looks like he'd be a partaker of the little boys.
However, the footage that we've seen in
I saw this and they said, "Oh, my assistant just."
today's video doesn't really back that story up. So what's the summary and conclusion today? Well, I wanted to post this video because the end of the year is always party season. It's always good to go and let your hair down. However, in Russia, you need to be careful how much hair you're actually letting down and make sure that you go appropriately dressed to these parties. Now, when Anastasia Ilieva organised this party, I'm sure she wasn't expecting anything like this sort of backlash. I'm sure her main thoughts were about how many videos and pictures she could get to post on her Instagram page to increase her number of followers. But unfortunately, from her point of view, the views and followers that she attracted as a result of this party weren't exactly the ones that she wanted. And the public backlash has been quite severe. When President Putin gets involved in your party, that is really a bad thing. Now, I'm not saying that Russians don't want President Putin attending their parties, but I don't think this was his sort of gig. And as we've seen from today's video, the ramifications...
He's not just a mood killer, my friends.
Oh, he kills people. He is a true killer. Actually, he doesn't kill anybody. He has people to do that for him.
Have actually become quite serious. People have been arrested. There's now a 1 billion ruble court case coming against the organiser of this party, and lots of celebrities have lost a lot of their contracts and future work. But I think the implications for the Russian people and society are really the bigger issue here, because President Putin has said that this was an affront, this was a sexually motivated party, and he sees it as being something that needs to be clamped down. And as you saw earlier in the video, the LGBTQ movement has actually now been officially labelled as an extremist organisation, which means that community in Russia...
Oh... That's what's so annoying about these traditionalists. They're doing something right, but it's so wrong.
Well, here's the here's the thing. It's mission creep, Luke. I mean, like at some point they're going to be demanding that husband and wife basically have separate beds. Because, God forbid, little monkey man doesn't get his action, his freak on.
Oh, no.
You know?
Worse, they'll mandate you have children. And they'll dictate how many children you're supposed to have to be a real couple. Like,
Oh, they already... Oh, yeah. If you don't have at least 8 kids, you're a faggot, don't you? You're a closeted homosexual.
Birthing quotas. You're not a true part of the country if you don't have so many kids. 8 kids.
And you know the sad part here is that most of those kids are going to be cannon fodder for wars.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the point, yeah.
Yeah, you need more. You need to start breeding as many as you can. You fucking Soviet sow. God damn you! And I'll keep going.
Oh, what was that line from that Disney Nazi propaganda video? Subtle hint: Russia, Nazi Germany soldiers, and they give him like a birthing passport with like 12 people on it, lines on it.
Oh Jesus Christ! 12 different wives for one guy.
Oh no, 12 children for each woman.
Yeah, because your uterus is going to be like the size of a fucking basketball before this is all through. Fuck. All right. Besides bashing Putin and going after Soviet Zoe Quinn and conservative and Soviet Raffi, what else have we got here?
Disney is.
All right. So I have something I wanted to show. This was something that I actually am very proud of, believe it or not. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Let's see if we can find. Here it is.
They touch on this among birth rates.
Oh, come on. I know Steamboat Willie is on YouTube, is open public domain, but you have to block Education of Death too. As a result, where are you? Why are they hiding it so well?
They're hiding it because they know they want to hide their mistakes. Because God forbid, Steamboat Willie. Which, wait, does that mean I get to play? Thinking that Kingdom Hearts mission, or where the fuck it is, that world where they're in Steamboat Willie. Is that now public domain?
Yeah, well, the whole episode is public domain now. So, I don't see it as like a win. I just see it as okay, so people can post it for free. Like, what do you do?
I don't know. I don't know what, but I've heard that people who've been posting it are being copyright strict because there's a bunch of copyright Nazis or copyright trolling going on with that shit now.
Oh yeah, it is weird, isn't it?
It really truly is weird. But instead of Raffi singing "There Would Always Be Sunshine," they'd rather have the Warpath version of "There Would Always Be Sunshine," which
with the age of AI, you could easily conjure that up.
Oh yeah, we probably could. But I wanted to do a shout out to a YouTube channel that I just discovered recently, and it's called Candor Intelligence Network. It might be by the one German that actually knows what he's talking about. The one German who's actually good at intelligence. There you go, Luke. Send it to you. This is the. He sounds very similar to Robus, the King of Sweden.
His much hyped interview on Twitter with a guy who's banned on Twitter and YouTube and other places. Let's call him
Stefan
Mr.
Molyneux.
Jones. I'm not.
Huh?
Not Mr. Jones, Stefan Molyneux. He's like, for all the talk about how Alex Jones is like the most banned person ever, no one talks about Stefan Molyneux except me. Right? I'm like the only person who will talk about Stefan's freedom domain, what the fuck it was called, right? Speaking of, isn't he with like
before you continue,
Getty's account?
Sorry, Disney. I found Education of Death for Disney. Unfortunately, the video contains content from Disney who has blocked it in your country on copyright grounds. Like, it's my America, dang it!
Those who are Disney. I'm just saying, those who forget the past are doomed to relive it. Just saying.
I'm playing the clips for obvious reasons, but I have the transcript. This talk was so confusing and boring and misleading. Jones was clearly unprepared. He took a shower, he shaved, but that's it. It was chaotic rambling. He didn't prepare notes, and he's incapable of having a deep, structured, spontaneous conversation, even after decades.
Oh, I found the clip, but now I'm worried if I should even play it here.
Oh, fuck, it's the new year, so probably not. Let's see. Wolfwood and Pepper says, public domain only covers the original Steamboat Willie and can make their own works based on the Steamboat version of later versions still owned by Disney. So I guess my question is, so if it's not in color, is it okay? Like if I give the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, let's say red pants, is that now considered copyright infringement? Like, how is this even going to work? Like, life is made in color. It's not black and white, Disney. I mean, copyright there's more nuance and there's gray areas, no pun intended. Let's keep going.
In broadcasting. This was an important opportunity for him. He wants to get back onto the big platforms. But Carlson seems genuinely dumbfounded about Jones's rambling and the lack of preparation. If conservatives really think they will benefit from these two guys, they are in trouble. Jones has been on the air since, the mid-1990s, and he is that bad in front of a camera? He's not good with words. He's actually worse than he was in the 2000s or the 1990s. I mean, you would expect somebody to get better over time at a certain job. The GOP needs Jones for the votes. I get that. If he delivers and then vanishes from the face of the earth and gets replaced by someone else, that would be great for Carlson and the Republicans. Jones is a minefield. He's a magnet for unnecessary and preventable trouble. He may have promised his Republican friends to behave in the future, not go overboard, keep the message simple. From a conservative perspective, it may be an acceptable compromise to use Jones for the votes and keep him controlled, but what are the downsides to this strategy? We don't know what dark secrets from the past about Jones we haven't even discovered yet. You're buying the cat in the bag with Mr. Jones. The Capitol entanglement, the Roger Stone stuff. What happens when Julian Assange from WikiLeaks gets extradited to the US and starts talking what he did with Roger Stone in the Trump campaign? What did Jones know, and when did he know it? What if Jones has to make statements under oath, and he cannot plead the Fifth, and performs like he did under oath during the Sandy Hook proceedings? Jones is saying what is trendy with his target audience at any given time. That makes him replaceable. No one really needs him. There are younger people, better-looking people, guys with muscles and tattoos. Maybe.
So what's the criticism he's trying to get at?
The criticism he's trying to get at is the idea that this that Jones is basically replaceable, and the stuff that Jones says is not journalism. And I actually agree with him on this. In fact, I've actually, again, shout out to the freaking Candor Intelligence Network. This guy has, let's just say, he's in the same tier as Lloyd DeJong when it comes to his preparation for work and whatnot. When it comes to his sources, I actually think this guy is legitimately a really, 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 really good source, and I'd highly recommend it. He had an interesting take on the Jews, believe it or not. He had the idea that the Jews were being used as spies along with homosexuals, which I found. Well, the only other person I've heard say that was the hell's his name, Richard Spencer of all people. And of course, Richard Spencer would be saying the homosexuals were used as spies. Because they're disposable, you can say, oh, that faggot, get rid of him. Throw him in the guillotine. Oh, that Jew, throw him in the fucking furnace. Into the trash you go. Like, that's what they would do. But the idea was that the crown of, I think it was the UK at the time, the Britain, was using Jews to launder money and other things and whatnot. And they actually were, they were agents of the crown. And I do believe that there is some truth behind that. Because I've came to that conclusion. I said, hey, you know, if I have Jewish friends and they want to do stuff for the Sabbath, I'm willing to do stuff for them if they do stuff for me in return. So there is that argument to be had. But keep going, keep playing it, because he has some interesting stuff. Keep going.
Q shaman will be more famous than him in the future. So promoting certain political trends may help the GOP in the short run, but can create big problems that last for a long time. Pushing women voters and young voters away, lawsuits from voting machine companies, for example, really hit Fox News hard because they just wanted to get into the conspiracy activism game. It's a miracle that Jones wasn't hit with these lawsuits after his reports on the 2020 elections. And so fanaticism has a detrimental effect on people in the audience and their families. Jones is like a bottle of cheap whiskey. Feels familiar, makes you exhilarated for a short while, gives you an ego boost, but it's just toxic ethanol mixed with water and sugar. So, here it says, we're here with the world's most dangerous man, the most censored man in the English language. Jones is the single most censored man in all American history. He was the first media figure in our history to be completely erased in one day. Okay, hang on. I remember the days when social media was not a factor at all. People just rented cheap servers and put up the files of Jones's stuff. Others could download them for free. Then came the file sharing networks. That was so convenient. You just typed in terms in the search bar or visited certain channels and you could then download files peer-to-peer. Not a centralized server, but other people's hard drives. Or you could just pay Jones a few dollars a month to download his stuff. So when social media happened, everyone should have known that this is dangerous. You know, that this is not going to last forever for everyone. These few companies gave Jones and others free file hosting.
And we're live again.
Oh, we're live again. Thank God.
Sorry about that.
I think, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, those who want to follow Candor Intelligence Network, I would highly recommend people look into his stuff. His stuff is really, really good, very well sourced, and it's not Wignet shit. Even though the guy is a German, but he's not Kraut and T levels of German. Okay, we're not talking about discount trouts. We're talking about actual bashful, like pluck a feather in your cap, you Ricola motherfucker.
So
that's what we're dealing with.
So what's his is his warning just like is he trying to warn us about Alex Jones and these people?
Yes.
What's he trying to tell us?
He's basically telling us that, you know, the Kremlin has bought people. They've bought off like certain activists and whatnot. He's very much he's in the same side as us when it comes to like the idea that Russia is actually trying to fuck with us and whatnot. And he's actually talked about it, about, you know, how there are certain journalists even in Germany who are very much anti-American, and to the point where they're pushing the notion of how shall we say it? They're pushing the notion that, oh yeah, we should be closer with Russia as opposed to America. Bullshit like that, you know? Yeah. So he's actually someone calling that shit out, and I think we should call it out a hell of a lot more. Alrighty, so let's keep going.
It's just toxic ethanol mixed with water and sugar. So, here it says, we're here with the world's most dangerous man, the most censored man in the English language. Jones is the single most censored man in all American history. He was the first media figure in our history to be completely erased in one day. Okay, hang on. I remember the days when social media was not a factor at all. People just rented cheap servers and put up the files of Jones's stuff. Others could download them for free. Then came the file sharing networks. That was so convenient. You just typed in terms in the search bar or visited certain channels and you could then download files peer-to-peer. Not a centralized server, but other people's hard drives. Or you could just pay Jones a few dollars a month to download his stuff. So when social media happened, everyone should have known that this is dangerous. You know, that this is not going to last forever for everyone. These few companies gave Jones and others free file hosting, free infrastructure, free promotion. No more paying for video hosting. You know, this was once 20 or 30 cents per viewing hour. That's one person out there watching your stuff for an hour. Do the math. Former Google engineers said YouTube delivered billions of views with Jones's videos. You know, that was in the old days when even totally radical stuff was possible on YouTube. So YouTube had to manage its own affairs, you know, bring in money through large advertisers. If they didn't want Jones's content on there, these large advertisers, then Jones was out of luck. His stuff was getting more radical because he had to compete with the new guys on social media who were successful with terrible quality conspiracy videos made on the cheap. So, if everybody sounds the same, if everybody just covers the same stuff, how do you stand out? You know, fancy studio that costs money, or just radicalism. You know, you're just more radical than the other guy. That was how that went. And so, the free hosting service ended for Jones. That's what happened. No more free hosting. No more freebies. After billions of views and probably even viewing hours. That's what happened. And he's playing the victim, as always. You don't see him giving free hosting on his own video platform to communists. Is he censoring the left on his privately owned platform?
No.
Sure, there is a cartel.
In fact, you could very well make the argument that a lot of these characters like Tim Pool and, Jones, they very well could build another infrastructure to host their own stuff. They have that ability. What's that, Luke, you're making?
It was an abstract of Alex Jones.
Was he about to freaking, birth a fucking alien or a xenomorph out of his chest?
Oh, it's a dynamic pose.
Ah.
Oh, this is cool. Oh, I tried to... it's kind of interesting what the pen strokes cause the AI to do, and then I tried to do Tucker... I just quickly did Tucker Carlson with a slight adjustment, and ta-da.
Oh, wow. Tucker Carlson's going for this anime pose. Of course, he has a shoe on his fucking arm.
Yeah, it thinks the arms looks too much like a foot.
Well, I mean, he looks too much like a deer in the headlight.
You can't see what I'm doing, but now it's more of an anime pose. Anywho.
Question with these big social media platforms. But if you want to be a hero and save America, you cannot wait for the courts to figure this stuff out. You have to make do with your own platform and opportunities. If you think the government will regulate social media in a good way, you are sadly mistaken. Best you can get is more influence of mainline Republicans, but the GOP has been around forever, and it's just not good enough. Jones never really made an impact with helping new political talents in the US. Never. Same situation we had during the 90s under Clinton, 2000s with Bush, all this time, all this money wasted by Jones. So then it says the following here in the transcript. And I'll just confess that I first heard of Alex Jones when he questioned the official story behind 9/11, and I, speaking for myself, was deeply offended by this. I didn't take any time to find out what he was saying, but I was bothered by the idea that this defining event in American history, which changed the life of everyone who lived here then, might not actually have unfolded as we were told it did, and that possibility was too destabilizing. And I remember feeling resentment toward Alex Jones for saying that. Well, we know what Fox News said during the Bush years. They had none of this conspiracy stuff. But then, of course, later, years down the line, Fox itself was trying to get into the game, of conspiracy activism to get the voters.
What is conspiracy activism?
Oh, it's when you confront Rothschild and say, we're going to get back at you for all the shit that your grandparents did. We're going to go after you and all your friends. We're not going to stand up. Like, instead of actually, doing something that actually helps the world. Like, let's say you actually educate people on what the difference between fluorination and water it actually is. Like, there are different types of fluoride. You know that, right?
Oh.
No, it's not just one type of fluoride. There's different types that exist. And, oh, wow. I just now noticed that freaking picture of Tucker Carlson. He looks like Nick Fuentes. in a Nick Fuentes Groiper costume. If that makes any sense.
I wonder if I probably could do that, but I'm having too much fun.
Oh, well, again, keep playing it up until, let's see, it's 8 minutes in. Play it till it's 17 minutes in.
According to intelligence experts like Robert Baer, high-placed Russian moles in the FBI and CIA like Robert Hansen and Aldrich Ames ruined American intelligence operations. That made it much harder to keep track of Al-Qaeda in and outside of the United States. Yet still, Tucker and Jones promote Russia today. FBI agents did investigate the hijackers at the flight schools, but the most promising leads were stuffed into a huge pile and only 2 analysts were tasked with that pile. There may be more Russian moles, even some who are influential in the GOP. Will Carlson go there? Or will he placate the truthers by insinuating 9/11 was a left-wing conspiracy to get them to vote? When he really doesn't like those truthers. And then it says, but fundamentally, Alex Jones is right about a lot of things, and in fact, that's why they don't like him. Well, Jones, over so many years, he quoted many mainstream articles. I mean, this was his radio show back then. He had his staff print out the most interesting stories, or all the stories, posted on the Drudge Report, and on some other platforms, and then he had a stack of news in front of him, and he was just ranting about that material. And if you cover enough interesting mainstream articles on important topics, you will be sort of correct on many things. That's not a remarkable achievement. That's nothing special. But the last real bit of original work from Jones was the Bohemian Grove infiltration in the year 2000. That's almost a quarter of a century ago. And I'm not saying that journalism or investigative journalism has to be exactly like this. You just have to physically enter a place you're not supposed to enter. There are many ways of good journalism, even about Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. But there wasn't original reporting from Jones, even when it came to Osama bin Laden. He was just quoting other people's stuff. That's what he did.
Yeah, so he basically did exactly what Sargon of Akkad and even to a certain degree, people like what we're doing right now. We're not real journalists. We're not people who are actually on the ground getting information, getting the sources, and talking to people. Tim Pool used to do that. The last real journalism that Tim Pool did was when he was actually in the field. But, I can't do it anymore because people know who I am. Like, who cares if they know who you are? Just go out and do it. Don't be a pussy. Because now, what are they doing? They're these fucking, I don't want to call them activist journalists, but they're basically just sitting down and watching, reading articles like I'm doing right now, and that's considered journalism. Here's the difference, though. I don't get access to have a press pass. He does. So something's wrong there, right? Keep going.
He was quoting real journalists. He was quoting real investigations. Even a lot of left-wing material, or politically neutral material. The left was also reporting about the United States operations in Afghanistan with the Mujahideen to drive out the Russians. Michael Moore did a film on 9/11 in the Bush admin. That was nothing special. Jones never gave you anything special and unique about bin Laden. Jones conveniently overlooked how deeply involved Russia has been in the Islamic world, including radicalism. So this is also something that you will notice in left-wing reporting on these topics. Oftentimes they really do not cover all that Russian stuff. So, then it says, but my most accurate prediction going back over a decade was when I read the Rockefeller Foundation, Operation Lockstep, and they described using a virus to bring in world government, to bring in a world medical ID. Okay, is he really directly accusing the Rockefeller Foundation of being involved in a criminal, genocidal conspiracy to use COVID to gain power and cause political changes? Is he really doing that? Right here, right there? Or is he not being serious? Is he just playing a character? Is he just commenting on what others on the web had commented on? Is he willing to defend that accusation in a court of law? Can he present then compelling evidence of this accusation, or will he crumble again miserably like during the Sandy Hook proceedings, when he tried to throw everybody under the bus? He couldn't remember who in his own company was responsible for the research. He was relying on unstable guests. He didn't bother to do basic fact-checking. See, this is how Jones works. It's a miracle he hasn't been sued much more. When there is scrutiny, he starts to use his usual techniques. Oh, I wasn't really saying that. I wasn't really claiming that. You're putting words in my mouth. You're twisting me. You're misrepresenting. I'm the victim. I'm always the victim. That's his method. So he wants to make these accusations, like with the Rockefeller thing. He wants to make an accusation, but he doesn't really want to put his money where his mouth is. Okay? I'm not telling you to trust the Rockefellers. I'm telling you to investigate properly, not just read garbage on the internet and just copy it. You see, Lockstep is just a document from 2010. It is one of many, many such documents from around the world anticipating a pandemic. In all kinds of countries, even in Russia, experts have been warning about new pandemics. This is just a very common thing. And if you actually read books on this stuff, you will know about this. It doesn't matter if it's Turkey or France or Russia or any place. There are always experts, there's always biosecurity, and they anticipate pandemics, because of lab accidents, natural spillovers, bioterrorism, biowarfare, the meat markets, open-air meat markets, or these fur farms, with very little safety in place. That's just very, very normal. Are you expecting the Rockefellers to put incriminating stuff into a document like this and putting it out on the internet? Certainly not.
It's almost
But this is
almost as if it's on the same tier as saying that the French hacked the election because they had a favored candidate during the 2016 election, or that Russia had a favored candidate during the 2016 election. Oh, therefore, French and Russia hacked the election. Case closed. That's basically where we're at right now with Jones. It's that level of it's lefty fucking journalism. And like he said before, he was very much against the Bushes. He was very much against it. But then because there was more about him now, it's all about him now and Roger Stone. Now, the Russians are okay, or now the Republicans are okay. No, this is stupid. The fact that we keep giving these guys the benefit of the doubt, I don't think we should even trust Alex anymore. I mean, you've seen him platform Dugin, and you've seen the shit that Dugin's up to. His fucking path. Did he? If he actually did the journalism and actually did the actual work, he would realize he platformed an occultist. He's a Christian now. Oh, okay. So I guess that just makes everything acceptable now, right? Right, Luke? It's all good now. He gave his heart to Jesus. It's all good. It's not like it's antinomianism at its best.
Still a wizard, dude.
Still a fucking wizard. Still a fucking degenerate walrus and a dugong for a daughter. But yeah, go look into this guy. He has I think 5,000 subscribers. Go look at him. He has way better stuff than I ever could. But he's actually doing real journalism. He's actually doing real fucking intelligence gathering. Okay. I call it like I see it, but I like to think of myself as a hub when it comes to like getting people to like network and stuff like that. I see myself that way. So go subscribe to this guy. Really good stuff. A little bit long. I kind of think he should get an editor to break up some of his work. That's one criticism I'll give him. But other than that, shout out to Candor Intelligence Network. But now we're gonna move on to some other things, some scarier shit. Here we go. So instead of talking about the intelligence networks and all the other crap, we're going to talk about chaos. More specifically, let's just say that sometimes life imitates art and art imitates life. Here we go. From the fucking sticky man himself, who apparently why he's wearing a fucking dog collar with a Russian iron cross, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what the bird wants him to wear, right? The bird wants him to wear the iron cross so he can court the alt-right again. There we go, Luke.
All right, everyone. We start off today a little bit late. I slept in because I stayed up late last night, by the way. Have to get some shut-eye. We've got a fluff piece here. Well, really more of a hit piece than anything else. It's from the Daily Beast, and I'm going to read part of it verbatim because I was laughing at this and how hyperbolic it is. I think you can laugh along, too. This is from the Daily Beast. Harvard President Claudine Gay's resignation is a win for right-wing chaos agents. Yes, of course, they caused her to plagiarize documents multiple times in her life. Claudine Gay, the first and only black president of Harvard University.
Hey. Don't Zinch. You have avian friends in high places. The chaos people have fucking the bird, okay? There are multiple birds. Like, you have to ask yourself, what the fuck is with all the birds, right? You have the Kiwis, then you have the fucking Stolas, and now you have Zinch, who apparently is warping space and time so that Trump can get elected. I kid you not. There's an article in that. We're going to look at that as well. Keep going. But yeah, there actually are chaos agents running around now. There are people who are Russian assets who are deliberately trying to destabilize the United States. And yes, they are part of the Eurasianist bullshit movement. And we all know what the chaos star of the Eurasian Empire looks like, right? So unironically, yes, there are chaos agents running around. They're not right-wing chaos agents. Some of them might be. And some of them might be left-wing chaos agents. So we have to be very careful in that regard. So life imitates art, but, we're going to have to be the guys who go to some of these places. And by the way, apparently, Luke, Charlie Kirk's little Turning Point USA was having a little gathering or whatever, and we didn't get to go. No one told us about it. When that happens again, we're going to go. We're going to go, and we're going to have fun. We're going to have lots of fun playing it.
4 centuries of its existence resigned her position on Tuesday. It's the unfortunate end to a weeks-long cynical campaign led by a roster of right-wing chaos agents. Conservative propagandist Christopher Rufo and Representative Elise Stefanik, in particular, they and their allies successfully weaponized multiple issues.
Yes, because saying that death against the Jews is definitely context-dependent. That's a right wing conspiracy, folks.
Well, maybe it's a left wing conspiracy, perhaps. Who knows?
It's
but
all.
It's stupid. It is stupid. Like here's one that was posted. Like I don't know who drudged this up, but apparently tiny cosmic particles can cause planes to free fall, freeze computers. I guess that's ominous, and can even cause outcomes in an election. So apparently, I guess Trump won the election until we actually checked, right? I mean, until you actually check the fucking the ballot box, it's like Schrodinger's ballot box. It's literally curiosity that kills the cat boy. Yeah, and this is actually posted. So the main takeaways are cosmic particles can cause serious impacts on the Earth, hitting electromagnetic devices. Particles can cause components in electronics to burn out and malfunction. The interference has caused planes to free fall and election votes to miscount.
Most secure election in history, folks.
Yep. This is from 2017.
Oh, whichever election it is, I forget.
And then there was this was something I posted here. Here we go, Luke.
Let's see.
Here we go. This is actually something that was posted. Let's see if I can find it. It is an Amazon link.
Holy Spirit board games? Huh?
This right here, Luke.
What is this?
This is the shit that Dugan would probably have in his little fucking collection of occult crap. The Holy Spirit board by Holy Spirit Games. Christian religious talking board for science and Planchik. I don't know how to pronounce that. Plachik? I don't know. Plachut? It's a divination board. It's a Ouija board for Christians.
Oh, good. This is the Gnostic inversion. It's the infiltration.
Yep. It even has the infinite loop on it. All this has happened before because all this will happen again. We have to return back to the tradition. So let's see what it has in the product description. The Holy Spirit board is the only spirit board designed directly to contact our Lord Jesus Christ. Unlike other spirit boards that are often used to contact ghosts and demons, this is a one-way ticket straight to heaven. Try today and discover a new way to pray.
Well, they somehow made a sola ecclesia appealing. Wow.
Here's a picture for you from the Amazon image board. Here we go. Show all photos, and we'll look into this. And it says, are you looking for a fun and easy way to communicate directly with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Well, now you can. With this Holy Spirit board, you can ask Jesus anything your heart desires, and he will answer you back. The Holy Spirit board is the only spirit board that you can use without sending your mortal soul directly to hell. What will you ask Jesus?
Wait, so you can't actually pray to Jesus? You have to only talk to him through this board?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not a Brahmin, so I don't make the rules, buddy. That's what we're dealing with. This is the world. This is the world that we fucking allowed. Goodbye, Jesus. It's just saying goodbye.
I mean,
amen.
I could eat. I mean, this almost looks like the kind of thing that it's only like a parody of what the religious right would make, and here it is in traditionalist Russia.
It's not just traditionalist Russia. This is actually something that's sold on Amazon.
Wait. Is it Russian? Where does this come from?
This is from Amazon.
No. But who made this? Who made this?
The brand is called Generic Brand. The brand, yeah. Brand is Generic Brand.
Let's see. Who's the Generic Brand? What is this all about?
So a Generic Brand has woman punk body harness for lingerie, which again, this if you're a sexually deprived or a sexually experienced Bulbasaur, this shit is also there.
Oh, what an interesting collection of things to sell.
Generic brands. I was looking at this. It's like a generic brand, Acme pimple patches, and I thought to myself, it's actually Acme, like the brand from like Wile E. Coyote and like the Looney Tunes, because that's what you're getting with generic brand. Although
they do have a lot of selection. They have a wallet with the $100 bill brand on the side, body harnesses, punk belt, poo leather belt, which is basically just a belt around your chest.
A Glock 19X, a Glock 45 keychain.
So
I guess
a 925 sterling silver spinning ring, a meditation ring.
Generic Dramamine. I ain't gonna take that shit. Friendship Angels. Let's see what else they got for generic. A lot of fucking women's lingerie. I mean, say what you will about contacting the Holy Spirit with a fucking board, right? A passport holder. Generic passport holder. Lovely. Let's see what else generic shit they have. Wow, they have like seven different freaking pages full of generic shit.
Holy Spirit.
That literally is called generic.
I want to find out what this company is all about.
Well, that's the problem. It's on Amazon, so there's no way to actually find out who actually made it. I'm pretty sure the board is a joke. It probably is a joke, but we really can't. Oh, let's see. Holy Spirit board games and design trademarks by Holy Spirit Games LLC, 2021 to 2023, manufactured in China.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think I found the website. Although it looks very old looking, so I'm not sure if it's. Miar founder Jish Matthews is a devout Christian who, according to prayer, accordion player and ventriloquist from Beaver, Utah. So, in 2021, Jish had a prophetic dream. Oh no. He was visited by an angel who told him that he must deliver the message of Jesus Christ to the world. He was shown a vision of a magical board with beautiful colors and letters, accompanied by a shining golden cross. When he awoke from the dream, he got to a sketchbook, got the book out and drew his first designs, and from this marvelous invention, and behold, the Holy Spirit board game was born. Let me put this on the screen. Let me see if I can get that here.
Do you have a picture of him?
Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, hold on. Let me post here. Makes it easier so we don't have to worry about posting anything inappropriate. Here we go. Here he is.
Oh, dude, that's a fucking AI image. It's like fucking, what the hell's her name? Brianna Wu looking, like pre-op Brianna Wu. Holy shit.
And the site looks
Beaver,
like,
Utah.
and this site, a YouTube channel. This has a YouTube channel. Let's see.
Okay, I want to hear
Jesus
this.
here. Are you still using a Ouija board like a fucking nerd?
Do it.
What?
Let's just watch it.
Hi, Jesus here. Are you still using a Ouija board like a fucking nerd? When you're using other spirit boards like these, all you're summoning is gargoyles and demons.
It is a joke, isn't it?
It is a joke, but there'll always be people who will take this shit. Like Barb Larson will take this shit way too fucking seriously. Even Mr. Rippicker will take this shit way too fucking seriously. Mm-hmm. Keep going. I want to hear it.
And now introducing the new way, the only...
I wonder how well AI can draw that. Jesus playing golf with an Ouija piece.
Oh, I don't know.
But real life is just too much. It's already interesting enough.
Dude, yeah, fucking
way to contact me directly. Jesus Christ!
Goes just like Holy Mary.
Spirit board. And this is a magic cross. You see the hole in the middle? It's like a glory hole to the mouth of me, Jesus Christ himself.
Oh, it does go down like Holy Mary.
The power of Christ compels you to get yours today. So buy yours today. Click the link below.
Oh shit.
Right.
I kind of want to show this to my godparents just to like fuck with them and see how they would play this game out. I think it'd be hilarious. Because that's something I like to do. I like to introduce new things to new people. So let's see. So we did Chaos Agents. We shout out Candor use. Okay. Now what's the next step of our master plan? Well, we're gonna get something to eat. And we're going to get something to eat that's going to be really good for us.
Oh.
And this was posted, again, it's been a long time since we talked. And yeah, we're going to get Mitch on this coming we're getting him on Saturday, and I'm gonna contact him later on tonight and ask him what time is he available, and we'll talk about it. But here's one thing that I don't know where the fuck, I don't know why YouTube allows this shit to be on YouTube, but why do black folks love fried chicken, Luke? They made no.
I just found this out. Apparently, the reason why chicken meat tastes so good is because that's where all its fat is.
Chicken meat tastes good because it's where all its fat is.
Why the skin is so delicious is because that's where all the fat is.
Its fat is in the skin, huh?
Apparently.
Ugh.
I
said do watermelon next.
But is there? But so is it racist? Like what's no racist about this now?
Well, we have to uncolonize our brain. So let's figure this shit out. We have to educate ourselves.
What does fried chicken have to do with race? Don't white people like fried chicken? And what's so offensive?
I love fried chicken. I don't know what you're talking about.
I love fucking pot pies any fucking day, mate.
Although it's probably not good for me. Like whenever I eat fried chicken, I once had an incident where I ate fried chicken, I didn't feel right, and so I'm a little hesitant. But I love fried chicken.
Oh, dude, fried chicken is amazing.
About fried chicken. Well, today we're going to talk about the history of African Americans and fried chicken. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at OneMikeHistory.com. Also, if you like to support the channel, do so at my Buy Me Coffee on Patreon page in the description below. Give us 5 stars on our podcast and support the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get started. The concept of fried chicken goes all the way back to ancient Rome. A Roman cookbook named the Abacus was the first to suggest the recipe of fried chicken. However, it was the Moors who truly developed and refined the art of frying chicken in the Mediterranean. Traditionally, fried chicken as we know it has its origins in 2 distinct cultures, Scottish and West African. The Scots were the first to introduce the idea of frying chicken, which was quite different from the usual European cooking methods of baking and broiling. There was evidence that the Scots had been deep frying.
So is it like a peasant dish?
Well, you have to. Well, actually, that's a good question because we do have different words for poultry when it comes to root words. Like Latin, I think is poultry is a chicken is a Anglo-Saxon term, and I think poultry is considered a Latin term, I believe, because it showed the class divides between the peoples, like the Romans who were rich and landowning versus the Anglo-Saxon native population at the time. There is something to be said there in that regard when it comes to where we get our language from, right?
I mean, according to Thomas Sowell, what we call black culture is actually poor white culture, like poor white redneck culture.
Which, well, they're the ones who are lynching people. I mean, they're the ones who are burning everything to the ground. And I'm not saying poor redneck culture. I'm saying just poor culture in general. Keep going.
Poultry. In fact,
if you're poor, you're probably a redneck. Kind of comes into the conversation.
Yep.
Ages. An interesting piece of evidence from 1773 diary of the writer James Boswell wrote about a dinner he had in the Isle of Skye, which included fried chicken. One of the very first known written recipes of fried chicken comes in a British cookbook entitled The Art of Cookery, Made Plain and Easy by Hannah Glass in 1747. The recipe, loved by both British and the American colonies, in the recipe calls to cut 2 pieces of chicken into quarters, lay them in vinegar for 2 to 4 hours with salt, pepper, a bay leaf, and cloves of garlic in very thick batter. First with a half a pint of wine and flour.
Fucking everyone. People don't like the Dashing Rogue. They hate that shit. We're back again, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they just do not want us talking about the fried chicken. They don't want to talk about the origin of fried chicken.
Let's see, fried chicken.
James Boswell wrote about a dinner he had in the Isle of Skye, which included fried chicken. One of the very first known written recipes of fried chicken comes in a British cookbook entitled The Art of Cookery. While it was Scottish immigrants who first introduced fried chicken to the United States, they were definitely not the ones that popularized it. That was done by Western Africans. During that time period, Western Africans were very familiar with cooking chicken, and they usually used a braising technique. However, once in America, enslaved Africans used their culinary traditions to introduce the concept of seasoning and spices and imbue the flavor.
Bring on the spice wars, my friends.
Bring on the spice wars. But didn't we just say that bay leaf was used by the Scottish? Or is it the fact that they did it in America first? I don't know.
Into an otherwise mundane dish. See, at the time, the Scots weren't putting any seasoning in their fried chicken. Upon arrival,
Objection!
People found themselves in an alien landscape.
Objection! Back up! No, back up. They used bay leaves. Bay leaves is seasoning. They were using cloves. That's seasoning. He literally contradicts himself right then and there. Go back and play it a second. He literally used.
First intro. while it was Scottish immigrants who first introduced fried chicken to the United States, they were definitely not the ones that popularized it. That was done by Western Africans. During that...
Right there. Yeah, right there. Right
Oslo
there.
wrote about a dinner he had in the Isle of Skye, which included fried chicken. One of the very first known written recipes of fried chicken comes in a British cookbook entitled The Art of Cookery, made plain and easy by Hannah Glass in 1747. The recipe, loved by both British and the American colonies, in the recipe calls to cut 2 pieces of chicken into quarters, lay them in vinegar for 2 to 4 hours with salt, pepper, a bay leaf, and cloves of garlic.
That sounds
Salt
like
and pepper.
Well, did
That
it mean
sounds
like
like
spicy?
spice.
I mean, what do you mean by spice? Because is that just something different?
Well, cloves of garlic is... Let's see, cloves of garlic.
Wow, it was Scottish immigrants when they were continuing to draw on their deep culinary traditions. African culinary habits...
Did they, though? I mean, they were slaves. They didn't have a lot to work with.
It's revisionist, and let them have the history of fried chicken.
I mean, didn't Boondocks kind of make a joke about the itis food? How this food was not really meant for human consumption, but it was all they had at the time?
I mean, I haven't seen that whole episode all the way through, but yeah, I guess so.
Let's find that clip here.
Featured poultry and fowl, and chicken played a significant role, making this an easily adaptable ingredient when they reached the New World. Their culinary skill and ingenious improvisation of the enslaved people played a huge role in the growth and popularity of fried chicken. They combined their African cooking techniques with already available ingredients in America to create something completely different. For example, West African cultures use palm oil most often for fried foods. However, in America, enslaved Africans had to switch to using lard or pig fat, the fat of other animals, to fry chicken. This was because those ingredients were more readily available and less expensive. Chickens also played a significant...
the truth about soul food.
This food is destructive.
This food is your culture.
Then the culture is destructive.
He's right.
Oh, burn.
The culture is destructive. It quite literally is. I mean, I can remember there was a scene, I think it was Coolio, I believe. He was like on the Iron Chef, and he was basically making this like really disgusting looking food, but my God, it was tasty. And his rationale for why he made it was because it was accessible at places that had, like, let's say, food market waste, supermarket wastelands. The idea that there weren't many like actual grocers that you could go to get real fresh food, so you had to buy whatever you could find at the mom and pop shops.
Is Boondock still airing with new episodes?
I don't think it is.
I couldn't get made today.
That show would have been fucking like they probably would have canceled his ass. I'm surprised they haven't already.
Senior Freeman,
I don't know.
All African American slaves had to eat was the parts of the pigs the slave masters wouldn't eat. But that was a survival technique, I said. They didn't really have a choice. I don't think people are supposed to eat this stuff.
They're not. They're not. Spoiler
in the
alert, they're
lives
not.
of enslaved people. Chickens were amongst the few animals that enslaved people were permitted to keep and care for, and they became a key part of their meals. Raising chickens was manageable and presented enslaved people with an opportunity to express some level of independence. Chickens also had economic importance because sometimes enslaved people were allowed to trade or sell their surplus eggs and meat for other goods.
Yeah, they also make it's also been joked about they make a lot of money selling fake hair to black women.
Jeez.
However, if a chicken fell sick or died, enslaved people were forced to eat it to avoid wasting the food. Therefore, they came up with the idea of cleaning and seasoning the meat, then frying it in hot oil. During slavery, fried chicken was a luxury reserved for special occasions.
So it wasn't really about spicing, it was just making sure it was safe to eat.
Right.
Huh.
Although the recipe is extremely simple, preparing it took a lot of time, effort. Not everyone had access to the right kitchen tools or even access to available poultry. Still, as more and more people tasted fried chicken, it began to disseminate across the South, and by the end of the Civil War, the connection between African Americans and fried chicken was already firmly established. In the period following the Civil War...
Yeah, because I didn't know that until recently. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, but that's assuming this guy's telling the truth. I mean, he's equating the Moors to fucking Africans, and I'm thinking to myself, the Moors were Muslim, and the Moors, they were the ones who were enslaving everybody. They were literally going after whitey, blackie. Yeah, so it's the Muslims who invented the fried chicken. It's all coming together.
Mass-produced fried chicken and inexpensive oils became readily available. However, during the same time period, racial laws restricted employment opportunities for African Americans, particularly women. So they resorted to selling their homes.
Oh, and we just had to stick a little feminism jab in there.
Oh yeah, slavery abolished, women most affected.
made fried chicken often considered Sunday meal to travelers. This economic strategy helped propagate Southern railways and therefore solidify fried chicken as a Southern staple and a nationwide symbol. The best example of this took place in Gordonville, Virginia. Despite this small town of only 900 residents, Gordonville, Virginia was an important stop for two major railroad lines. During that time period, trains did not have dining cars, so passengers had to figure out how to feed themselves, and some would pack their own food, while others chose to purchase meals during their trip. Spotting a business opportunity, African-American women used to sell their homemade food to passing travelers. They would serve fried chicken and pies and biscuits and deliver them to the hands of passengers on a platform through the train windows. The women were known as waiter carriers. But by the turn of the century, the majority of the trains began to equip with dining cars, and governmental regulations became more stringent for platform food vendors. And as a result, this innovative business tradition had to come to an end. During the Great Migration, many African Americans moved from the South to northern industrial cities, and they took their food traditions with them, including their beloved fried chicken that reminded them of their former homes. Over time, African Americans.
Why would they do that? Why would they be reminded? Why, like, wouldn't you want to run as far away from from the slave master as you could? I mean, that's like me eating a fucking eating quesadillas or BLTs, because when I was in the fucking, the fucking juvenile or the correctional facilities, let's say, that's what they would feed us, is fucking quesadillas and BLTs. So, like, you'd think that someone like me would not want to eat quesadillas and BLTs because it reminds me of the fucking the slammer, right? So these former escaped slaves, right? Why would they want to be reminded of their serfdom? Like, literally.
Don't you think because
what do you got?
I don't have anything. I just clicked on something. But yeah, because I mean, the narrative. That's what's really annoying about these narratives. If you just think about them for 1 second, they just fall apart.
They do, and the problem here is that the blacks don't have a past. I'll just say they don't have a past because it was robbed from them. That's one thing.
It's not that they don't have a past; it's just not very fun. It's just not very. It's not particularly glorious.
It's not glorious, but the cool thing about being black in America, you have the whole world as your oyster. But you are way better off here in America than you are in, let's say, Africa. Like you have to deal with Ebola outbreaks and shit and like war-torn bullshit going on in Africa. Here, you have you won't go hungry. You won't go hungry in America. You'll have 3 square meals. I guarantee you. It may not be the best meal, but you'll have 3 square meals. I guarantee you of that.
Although, to be fair, I would never say that any particular racial history is particularly glorious because I wasn't raised that way.
No, I don't see it that way. I mean, I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm not Ben Shapiro or fucking what the hell is the guy's name? Mr. Cool Whip. What the hell's his name? Jared Taylor. I'm not one of those fuckers. I don't know. I mean,
chicken as a staple meal after church. They also would serve the best part of the chicken, typically the breast, to the pastors as they visited the home. During this time, chicken would become known by Gospel Bird or the Sunday Cluck. This would continue up until around World War II, when fried chicken was still only being enjoyed on special occasions. It was still a relatively labor-intensive process. But by the 1950s, the popularity of fried chicken exploded due to the rise of fast food chains. Many entrepreneurs in the fast food industry saw America's passion for fried chicken and decided to capitalize on it. Companies started to brainstorm ways to...
What is the purpose of trying to tell us that black people are... This video is always associating this with black people with fried chicken. So are you trying to say that I shouldn't think that way? I should think of it's like something that they should... When I see fried chicken, I should always think of a black person?
Well, here's the thing. It's from One Mic History. It says, each episode centers around little-known events or persons around black history selected for their effect African Americans and American culture. So he has one about Jim Crow, Black New Year's, which is I actually kind of want to watch that as well because that's fucking. I'm actually gonna subscribe to him unironically because he has like 95K subs. Very good. Why Black Folks Love Christmas. Let's
fried
see.
chicken nationalism now.
Black mac and cheese.
Black mac and cheese. Oh boy.
As opposed to regular mac and cheese.
I mean, mac and cheese is already unhealthy for you. How much more is black mac and cheese?
They probably like pack that shit full of fuck. They just throw a whole fucking stick of margarine or butter in it and just let the chips fall. They may. Black collard greens, which in fairness, I actually had my brother had a friend who taught him how to make collard greens, and when I tasted it, I'm like, wow, this is some really good shit. Have you ever had collard greens?
Well, this channel is doing pretty good. It has almost 100,000 subscribers, so good for them.
Well, as long as let me just say this: as long as he cites his sources, I'm okay with it. Even if the sources are biased, I'll give him the points where points are due. Keep going.
4-year-old channel, not too bad.
quickly cook up a massive amount of fried chicken and serve them fresh to their customers. It was during this time period that fried chicken went from being a national American dish to an international dish. However, it was also during this time period, during the Jim Crow era, where racial stereotypes between African Americans were closely tied to fried chicken, asserting black folks as poultry thieves and ravenous eaters of fried chicken. This portrayal cast African Americans as inherently savage and unintelligent, as predatory, lustful beings who exhibited primal, uncontrollable affection for food, particularly fried chicken.
Wait, so the stereotype against black people eating too much chicken happened when a lot of white people started eating black chicken?
I guess.
So
I guess.
Wouldn't that make white people just as savage as the blacks?
Well, I'll be frank with you. What did he describe him as? Like satious and lustful and loving food? I mean, that sounds like me. I hate to be the guy who says it. You're describing me right there. Let's see. What did he say?
This portrayal cast African Americans as inherently savage, and unintelligent,
predatory, lustful beings. Oh, okay.
Lustful beings who exhibited primal, uncontrollable affection for food, particularly fried chicken.
Dude,
what about watermelon?
Do you know what the internet is yet, my friend? There's enough of that going all around right now, and it's not about fried chicken.
I hate to be the guy who says this, but you're talking to someone who loves watermelon and fried chicken. I mean, I'm not black, but I like
the
I
watermelon
like that
connection.
shit.
Oh, do they have a watermelon connection? Because that'd be entertaining.
I actually typed that in and said, "Now do watermelon next."
Hey, don't let your skin color dictate your food habits. Just have fun. Enjoy your fried chicken. Enjoy your fried chicken. Enjoy your watermelon, please.
Okay. You know what? Because I fucking asked. There we go.
Oh, now what? What is it? How black is watermelon? Oh, no.
We're going to finish this one, and we're going to go that one.
Okay,
live.
Okay.
In 1915, the film The Birth of a Nation popularized the trope of African Americans as chicken thieves, painting them as dim-witted and lazy. In one scene, elected black officials were seen swigging from whiskey bottles and putting their bare feet on tables, while another man is seen ravenously gnawing on a chicken bone. Such imagery permeated deep into the 19th century.
Well, I mean, are we going to talk about how Birth of a Nation is apparently lost causer propaganda?
No, we're not going to talk about that. He didn't go that far.
These stereotypes continuously showed in various types of movies and media.
Yeah, we could use that to segue about Abraham Lincoln and his dictatorial regime, but no, we're going to talk about blacks and chicken. Although, yeah, that wouldn't even, that narrative wouldn't make that narrative wouldn't help his cause. I'm guessing what the cause of this video is to make like a black studies kind of propaganda.
That's exactly yes, that's basically what it is, because everything is about Black New Year's, Black Christmas, which is not a fucking horror film apparently in this regard. Yeah.
Shows advertisements. These often showed African Americans indulging in specific types of foods like fried chicken and watermelon. This was propagated to a point to insinuate that African Americans were less intelligent and highlighted white society's perceived cultural and racial superiority. This stereotype was often employed with the human trope to belittle blacks, thus underscoring black people's subjugated status. In today's world, the stereotype persists, and the media plays a significant role in establishing and perpetuating and amplifying these stereotypes. From racist depictions, minstrel shows, to negative portrayals and modern advertisements.
I mean, I mean, when I was a kid, I vaguely remember the black stereotypes in Looney Tunes cartoons. I mean, Looney Tunes had a lot of racial stereotypes, but they were censored for 90s television. But I didn't hate the blacks as a result. The most infamous version in the Disney world is like the crows from Dumbo, and I didn't hate them. I thought they were the coolest characters.
I thought they were awesome. Are you kidding me? You're the fucking based. I mean,
I've been done seeing about everything till when I see an elephant fly. That's fun.
That or the vultures from the fucking Jungle Book, which were based off of the Beatles, apparently.
Oh, are they? Oh, yeah, they are. Yes.
The fucking John, George, and Ringo and all them.
Them, I thought they were cowards. I didn't like them. I thought they were cowards.
Well, the British.
Media contribute significantly towards.
What's that?
The one thing I want to know from this guy is, do you put salt on your watermelon? That's what
salt on watermelon. How's that taste?
We'll try it this summer. We'll try it with salt or watermelon.
The racial myth-making of fried chicken, even as attempts to counter these negative stereotypes, the contemporary media, old tropes occasionally resurface and underline the persistence and cultural baggage that fried chicken seems to carry. In 2010,
nobody cares anymore.
Well, they have to bring it up, because if they don't bring it up, they have no culture. They have to bring up they have to keep the wound fresh, because if it heals, then they'll have nothing to complain about.
Their culture is Gnostic resentment, and that's so boring.
Gnostic resentment. I love that term. Let's get into the watermelon.
Yeah,
How did watermelons become racist?
All reality is a conspiracy against them by the evil demiurge. I mean, white supremacists.
The white demiurge.
A Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial in Australia depicted a white person calming down a rowdy crowd of black people with fried chicken. While the ad was labeled as racist, it's also seen as an example of exactly how these stereotypes continue to spread.
But it was labeled as racist, and how did the idea spread?
Not to mention, those are black people from fucking the Aboriginals.
Those
are Aboriginals. They're not from Africa. They're black, but they're not fucking, in that regard, black.
Publicly and pulled the ad. However, despite these stereotypes propagating in the media, many African-American chefs and food writers have made efforts to reclaim the narrative and highlight the historical and cultural significance of fried chicken and continue to elevate Southern traditional meals, including fried chicken, to the realm of gourmet cuisine. And the success of black-owned businesses shows that African-American entrepreneurs can succeed despite these stereotypes. Strides are being taken to dismantle.
Who owns Popeye's chicken, though?
I don't. That's actually a good question. Probably is. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'm looking it up. But let's watch this next one about black. How black.
What was it? What was the title? It's how did watermelons become racist? No, it's just a watermelon. Stop attacking the watermelon, you jerk.
So apparently the CEO of Popeyes is a white woman.
Mm-hmm. Was it always, or was that recent?
Let's see. Who is the original? Alvin Charles Copland. I'm gonna look this guy up.
Is that a black man?
Is American entrepreneur Popeyes? What does he look like? He was born. They don't show any picture of him, so I'm gonna look up who Al Cop. Let me see if.
Please,
it's on Wikipedia.
Please, let's see.
I want to. Oh, it's a white guy.
Oh.
It's a white guy. So it's all.
So when I see when I ever go to a black Popeye's chicken and I can now see most of the people there are black people, I can say, oh, these are all black slaves to the white man. Thank you for putting that image in my head, you jerks.
Yeah. Again, I gotta ask though, because this is what I want to know from this video: salt or no salt on your watermelon? That's what I want to know.
Speaking of which,
what makes watermelon racist? Or have you ever heard the story of D.D. Chandler and the modern drum set? Well, those are the two questions that we're going to answer tonight. And if you would like to ask your own questions, you can do so by going to OneMikeHistory.com and click the contacts page and send me your questions. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by buying me coffee on our Patreon page in the description below. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, support the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get started.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Now, at
solar watches? Advertising for solar watches here?
You gotta make money somehow, even if you're selling out to the Chinese.
I mean, this video has 240. How many? 200. Only 200 views. 3.
Yeah, this is because how much you want to bet people are subscribing to it? Because if they don't, they're bigots, and they're not watching it. You know, it's like fucking Nightmare RH levels of fucking audience retention. I mean, I'm no better. Just saying.
So it's about watermelon. Don't white people like watermelon too? Well, the stereotype of African Americans being excessively fond of watermelons came during a specific period in history and was used to fulfill a specific political purpose. After slaves won their emancipation, they made watermelon a symbol of their newfound freedom by growing, eating, and selling it.
Oh, that's interesting. Apparently, he's been getting a lot of views only recently, because this video was a month ago, but all his other views are like hundreds of thousands of views. So it's like, what happened between then and there?
I don't know.
Southern whites responded by using the fruit to depict African Americans as unclean, lazy, and childishness. This trope was so widely accepted within popular culture that the origins of it are almost forgotten. The trope of the racist watermelon didn't emerge until after emancipation. In the early 1900s, the European imagination associated the typical watermelon eater with Italians or Arabs. A British officer stationed in Egypt in 1808 described the watermelon as a poor Arab feast, and noting that the locals ate them ravenously as if the passers-by was going to snatch them away. Watermelon rinds were apparently a common sight on the streets of the port city of Rosetta. In Egypt, watermelon was also associated with uncleanliness, laziness, and childishness. These associations eventually made their way to America, but watermelon...
blah, blah, I get it. It's all bad. The demiurge
everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is misogynistic. We have to point it all out. Never mind the fact that I'm looking... Again, I want to know. Salt on watermelon or not, or no salt? That's what I want to know. Because that shit's actually really good. Well, we're going to try that sometime, Luke.
It's a plan.
Yep. Keep going.
hadn't yet been...
Must we? Do we have to know about the... Do we have to break the demiurge of watermelon?
We have to throw off our iconic oppressors so we can enjoy watermelon in peace.
Connected to African Americans. In fact, at that
I can
time,
do that without watching this, so thank you very much.
Americans were just as likely to associate watermelons with white Kentucky hillbillies or New Hampshire yokels as they would a black South Carolina enslaved person.
Oh, it's almost as there's a correlation between white intellectuals and black rednecks.
Jesus Christ.
During chattel slavery, some plantation owners would allow their slaves to cultivate and even sell their own watermelons. Sometimes they would even give them a day off during the summer to enjoy their first watermelon harvest. Southern plantation owners viewed their slaves' delight in watermelon as an indication of their own supposed compassion. Slaves were also careful to relish watermelon in a manner that followed the code of conduct established by whites. As a result, whites could expect slaves to act in a manner of a caricature of a watermelon-craving, juice-driven pickaninny. Refusing to comply with this stereotype could jeopardize the precarious relationship between master and enslaved. The abolishment of enslavement drastically altered the relationship between black...
Can I get some citations for that, or are there any citations for this?
Well, actually, I'm going to go look at his channel real quick, because I want to know. I personally want to know. So let's see. Actually, he does have some citations. He has, let's see, the folkways.si.edu, Boston Globe, nmamha.cissi.edu.
I mean, are they primary sources?
Well, funny enough, you should say that. Let's see. So this is the Smithsonian. So Smithsonian, you could take that as it is. The birth of the drum set, which is, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Fried chicken, watermelon, and other racial stereotypes. This is from the Boston Globe, which I don't, that you could take that as a primary source or non-primary source. But apparently, Tech History is saying we should not focus so much on whether it's a primary or a secondary, because sometimes secondary sources are just as good as primary, because people, there's no one alive today who actually remember who was there in World War I. There's a handful, and they can only tell you so much about what was going on, so you're going to have to hear what the historians have to say. So let's see. We have popular and perverse stereotypes of African Americans by the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which I guess you can count as a primary source. So he did more research than I did in this regard.
Huh?
And even then, I mean, hey, whatever works. But again, I really want to know, salt or no salt.
I want to know, who cares? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, believe it or not, salt on watermelon is a Southern thing, and it's a really good thing too. Like it makes watermelon taste amazing. It truly does. It makes it like a fucking like a Gatorade almost, because you get your electrolytes and you get your salts, and it's refreshing and it tastes good. So yeah, keep going.
People in whites. Formerly enslaved individuals avoided sharecropping on white-owned plantations by growing, consuming, and selling their own watermelons. This behavior of enjoying your freedom and cultivating your own land and selling watermelon in public markets provoked a major fear within the white community. Newspapers would then stoke this fear that whites have and strengthen the idea of African Americans having an affinity for watermelons. In 1869, Frank Leslie's illustrated paper published a cartoon of an African American eating a watermelon. The accompanying article stated that Southern African Americans have a strong liking for watermelon. They thoroughly enjoy eating it. 2 years later, a Georgia newspaper reported the arrest of a black man for allegedly poisoning a watermelon with the intention of killing his neighbor. The article compared the man's actions to that of the Ku Klux Klan and asked if the Republican Congressional Subcommittee investigating the Klan should look into this incident in particular. The article also described the man as walking to the courthouse carrying an enormous watermelon. Medical journals also wrote with a scientific earnest about black patients. They claimed that their intestines were clogged with watermelons. In an 1888 report by Dr. D.Z. Holliday of Harlem, Georgia, describing how he broke down a bowel instruction of an African-American man, he claimed that the mass was filled with 820 seeds, all of which the man had ingested in one night. Also, during the 1880 election season, Democrats accused South Carolina state legislature, which was majority black during Reconstruction, of having wasted taxpayers' money on watermelons for their own enjoyment. In 1915, the white supremacist...
Well, at least he's going after Republicans and Democrats. I'll give him credit on that.
Well, yeah, you have to educate everybody if you're going to be a good critic of all that exists.
Hey, at least he's an equal opportunity racist. Saying.
Well, it's context dependent. So whatever opportunity advances his agenda.
I guess you're right. I mean, just because you're an ally doesn't mean you're not a racist, right?
It doesn't mean you won't turn on us in a second.
Yep, just because. Damn. Keep going.
Birth of the Nation included a watermelon feast as a depiction of the emancipation, as corrupt northern whites encouraged former enslaved people to stop working and enjoy watermelons instead. This idea of implicating black appetite and black character through the watermelon, with the primary message being that African Americans were not ready for their own freedom, and that stereotype of associating blacks with watermelon remains a common occurrence in the United States even today. For example, in 1947, when Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier, he was confronted by race-baiting taunts, including crowds throwing garbage, tomatoes, and watermelon rides at him. Even in 1989, blacks protesting the killing of a black boy in Bensonhurst, New York, were taunted by whites, some of them holding watermelons over their heads and screaming at them to go home. There are literally hundreds of instances over the years with a watermelon in association with African Americans being used as a tool of insult. Even decades after the end of the Jim Crow era, this cultural symbol of blacks and watermelon continues. Second story tonight is the story of D.D. Chandler and the modern drum set. Did you know this man? This is Edward D.D. Chandler. He was a New Orleans jazz player and essentially created the drum kit as we know it, enabling one drummer to hold a band's entire rhythm and percussion. D.D. Chandler is an important figure in the history of the modern drum set. He achieved legendary status for his contribution to New Orleans jazz. Although he passed away before a detailed investigation into the study of New Orleans history was conducted, much of what's known about him has been passed down.
Chicken, Wolfram Pepper says chicken for breakfast is a southern thing. Yeah, country fried steak. I've had that. That's pretty good stuff. And even then, like, again, most of the stuff that they like, I like. It's not a bad thing. They just have a good palate. That's all. But yeah, again, I'll keep an eye on this channel because this channel. I feel like I struck the gold mine on this one. He's my fucker. He's mine. He's mine, motherfucker. But besides, let's see what else we got here. So okay, this will be fun. This is a fun one. Here we go. Pull this up here. We're gonna end it with some. A usual suspect, if that makes any sense. Here it is. Where is it? Here you go, Luke. We're gonna end it with something familiar. The elixir.
Many, many, many years ago, long before I ever created spirit science, I was a passionate animator, and I loved telling stories. When I was 14 years old, I started a story that didn't have a name. I asked my friend one time, "What do you think I should call this thing?" And he said, "Well, exile's a cool word, so why don't you call it that?" And I said, "Sure," because I didn't have any other better ideas at the time. The story that I conceived of told the tale of two kingdoms, the tale of friendship and betrayal, of overcoming the greatest of obstacles, and of true, perfect love. From the ages of 14 to 18, I animated 4 episodes, and then, when I turned 19, I had my spiritual awakening. Everything in my life changed dramatically, and all of my focus shifted to learning about the spiritual sciences of the world and sharing what I was learning through.
And what a journey it's been.
And what a journey! I mean, this guy, for the record, this guy's still on YouTube, and I think the video is still out there where he claims that Abigail Shapiro and Ben Shapiro are fucking Martians by virtue of them being Jewish. I'm not even joking. They'll go after people like me, but they won't go after people like there who will literally claim that a subsect of humanity is alien. Like, literally from, like, a different planet. Like, the Martian Manhunter levels, or the Marvin the Martian. But, again, you could probably do better animation than this shit, Luke.
I could try.
You could try, yeah.
Give me enough time. Well, of course, give him Ape enough time, he supposedly can make Shakespeare.
Ugh. Keep going. Get going.
Spirit Science, the animated series. But Exile didn't die. It stayed deeply rooted in my heart and my soul, waiting for a time when I would open it up once more. Over the last 5 years or so, every once in a while, this story would emerge within me and was transformed again.
Of course, for me, if I made something like this, I'd be a little too embarrassed to show it because I think, this is not good. I can't show this.
Jesus Christ.
Again, it changed to become a greater expression of itself by implementing many of the things that I was learning through my work with Spirit Science. The title of the story was also reborn, changing from Exile into Elixir. Today, I want to share with you these videos, exactly as they were made when I was a teenager. Now you'll have to forgive my 14-year-old self.
He definitely should have gotten some references for that. I mean, he at least rotoscoped that. Just record people walking down a hall and just animate over that.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. I mean, rotoscoping is badass. So let's
exactly
see.
As they were made when I was a teenager. Now you'll have to forgive my 14-year-old self. He had absolutely no training on script writing or character development, but I'm compelled to share this with you today for a very particular reason.
Well, and he was made when he was much younger, so good for him.
All right, keep
And
going.
it's a reason that I can only explain once you've seen it all. However, as you go through this, you might be confused at points, or find yourself wondering, why am I watching this? And if so...
We're always asking that.
That's okay. I encourage you to have fun with this. If you are called, make yourself comfortable. Get into a comfy chair, maybe put it up on a TV, get some popcorn if you like, or even get high. The bottom line is, have an enjoyable experience with what you're about to witness, the imaginings of my teenage mind, before I had my spiritual awakening and spirit science began. In between each episode, I'll share some fun details about the journey along the way, and at the end of this adventure, which will take about 30 minutes, I'll explain why I'm sharing this with you today on this channel. And so, without further ado, get ready to pause the video, get yourself super comfy, get into the state that you want to be in to take in this adventure. And when you're ready, press play, and let's begin. So right off the bat, these videos are so old, they predate YouTube. All of the videos were made...
That's impressive.
That is very good look. That's very good.
...in a program called Adobe Flash. And back in those days, you'd actually have to build the videos with a preloader and a main menu that people could see before the video started.
Oh man,
so
this would have taken so long to render. Like, oh
Dude,
my gosh.
Like I can remember like wanting to pirate Adobe Flash because that was like the only way I could actually show shit on newgrounds.com. Like I actually had to buy plugins and crap like that to like convert PowerPoint into Adobe Flash so that way I could show it on Newgrounds.
Let's see.
But then YouTube came out.
How much is Adobe's Flash these days?
Well, it's probably like $5 a month, and you have to like have a subscription. You can't actually own it.
Oh
but
yeah,
you can pirate it.
They don't let you hard copies anymore.
Yeah, they don't, and which I guess is great if you're just trying to start out. But even then, it's costly, you know. Shit. Why? I'm still looking at the previous guy's fucking videos. Why blacks love barbecue? Let's see. Why blacks love collard greens? Let's see what else they have. The black folks behind the Manhattan Project. That's something we're gonna have to look into sometime. Fucking Oppenheimer. We got the Daleks to fucking. God damn it. Jesus. I'll stop. Keep going.
This was the simple main menu for the first ever episode.
CinemaSins reading. Although I wonder, could you voice over this? Back then, how would you incorporate audio into this stuff back in the day?
Oh, dude, this is like some like fucking 2006 shit.
These are cave paintings. How the heck do you do that? A prosperous city in a world unlike our own. The people of the city live peacefully, watched over by the United Royal Guards, who protect and serve the people from internal and external threats. This is the story of a boy who dreamed to be amongst these heroes. But like with all heroes, there are always traitors. Ooh.
Fucking emo hair.
How can you do this? Luke! I can serve only my king.
No! Why is it to be called Luke? That's not fair.
Oh.
Hey, Randall, you can never be forgiven.
What was his name? Randall?
How can you do this? Luke! I can serve only my king. Hey, Randall, you can never be forgiven for what you have done.
Randall?
It's that little bitch from fucking Recess. It's full.
Oh no.
Oh, we need to cream that little fucker.
Oh, my first memory was of the chameleon from Monsters Inc.
That's your first memory?
Well, not my first. I hear Randall, and that's what I think of.
The chameleon from Monsters Inc.
Yeah, Dave. What's his name? Buscemi.
Wait, that was Steve. That was Steve Buscemi?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't notice that?
I didn't know that, but I mean, noticing it, that's kind of like, is that kind of like stereotyping Buscemi? I mean, I could kind of see the resemblance with the smile, but him just showing up out of nowhere from this little fucking camouflage or active camouflage. How you doing, fellow monsters? Why do blacks love Cadillacs?
Oh, I wonder how they did. I wonder if they referenced this. It's actually pretty good.
It's good shit.
For being what it is, it's actually kind of pretty nice made. Let's see. Oh, I wonder if they were referencing something, or I wonder if they were referencing something, or they're just making it up as they went.
Either way, it was pretty good shit, man.
Okay. Oh, they're trying to do the very dynamic anime angles.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably based off of...
Oh, that's an axe that a smaller axe that turns into a bigger axe.
A shotgun with it. Fucking hit with the shovel. Market garden, the bitch.
2 years before. Year 17 of the Janus era. Huh.
Hey, Dad, why am I doing this?
Just thinking that's a little. That's before art lessons. Like turning the head like that. That's not natural.
That is like some fucking serial killer shit.
It's your off-season training. Ha! As if I need it. I'm untouchable. Well, maybe I'm taking up carpentry. Yeah, unlikely. Well, maybe I'm building an ark. Oh, yeah? I think we're gonna need some more wood then. Let's go home. It's getting dark anyways. Hey, Dad? We both know I want to become a whale guard. Next year I'll be 18. Old enough to be enlisted. Protecting people, sword fights, dangerous quests. So excited for that action. Hey, what would you have done without me? Training with you all these years. I only wish that I was a better fighter, then maybe I could have helped you out a bit more. You've helped me more than enough, and I thank you for that. Listen though, it's a serious job. You could be killed any day, and I don't want that for you.
Well, what do you want from me?
And there's something I need to tell you. What is it?
Luke Henry, outside is getting cold out. I don't...
Oh, wow. I'm trying to find out where the spirit science, the very end where he starts... Okay, here we go. The elixir. 33 minutes in.
Oh, wow. This was a long video.
This is a fucking long video.
I got you. If nothing else, I will applaud him for his dedication to his work.
Yeah, that is true. He deserves that. I mean, this is like on the same tier as Decline of Video Games, if you recall that shit.
See, what was it, 33?
Yeah, 33, yeah.
Or 18 years ago. Well, it was Janus who restored peace when he gained the throne after Aspen died. But since then, Baron's been planning something. I can't say what.
Not bad. Not bad fire effect. That's actually pretty. Like a decent fire effect is actually pretty hard to make.
I don't know. I mean, this shit reminds me of Decline of Video Games. Do you remember that shit?
No.
Like, before. Okay, here we go. So this is like the ancient lore of like this is going back to the year. This is around the time I was in middle school. Like this is before YouTube. This is when Newgar.
50% during this period. With such a bright time, gaming looked like it would last forever. Little did we know that we drew ever closer to our self-manufactured downfall.
Fuck! Holy shit. God damn! What is this?
Yeah, this definitely was a product of its time.
This is a product of its time, eh? No, but like go back to the elixir because that's what it reminds me of. We might do a return to Decline of Video Games.
Negotiations
sometime.
are not in their favor. Then why would they agree to those negotiations? I was very young at the time. Aspen, my mentor, just died. But I do remember hearing about it. I don't even know if there were negotiations. The attacks just stopped. Janus
well, the negotiations were short.
And he's praised for it. Anyway, tomorrow's boom day for that weapons facility. Better get some rest.
I will say this is really good animation for what he was doing. It's actually better than fucking Decline of Video Games. Decline of Video Games is way more jumpy. It looks like Akira almost. Like you know how like Akira, like their lip flaps don't really sync at eyes at all. Like they didn't even try it. It's very similar to that sort of look. Keep going. So let's see. 33 minutes in. Get back to where the sock puppet guy is.
Just out of curiosity, do you remember Ninja?
No, I do not.
I can't find it anywhere. But when I was in college, or like earlier years, that was one of the first like flash animations I saw, and it was very bloody and well, it was very rough and patchy at first. But basically, it was this little ninja off on a quest, and him basically slaughtering everyone who came in his way.
So it was like Samurai Jack without the fucking, the art.
Well, and blood. Well, I mean, flash blood, but it's still blood. So where are we going to?
past there we go. What we start talking about the elixir.
Wow, you made it through the whole thing, huh? So this story has been very near and dear to my heart for a very long time. It's a story that never went away, even when I was making spirit science, and I've been slowly working on it, tinkering with it, but entirely in secret. I wasn't ready to tell this story for a long time, and the biggest reason for that is that I don't have time to write it. I am so busy with spirit science and everything that's required in keeping up with it, that this story has often just received only light amounts of my time. Now originally, as you saw, this story was called Exile, but today it has transformed to being called Elixir. It's called Elixir for two reasons. One being that there is a central aspect of the story that revolves around a particular transcendental liquid, much like an elixir of life, or a psychedelic brew. But also, on a more meta level, it's called Elixir because the story is meant to be an elixir for our human consciousness today. This story has developed a lot, very much thanks to the spiritual transformations that I've personally been through. All of the stuff of spirit science, the sacred geometry, the dimensions, the hidden human history story, the fall of consciousness, the lost technologies, all of these things are deeply embedded and rooted into this story today. And it's something that I'm really excited to share. But even today, I still do have that same problem as before, where I don't have the time to write it fully. And so there are several intentions behind why I'm sharing this today. I do hope that by sharing this and sharing my intention to tell this story, that I'll find the perfect person who has a passion for creative writing, who might be interested in collaborating with me on this project.
Luke?
But in addition to that...
I haven't seen the whole thing, but considering what his subject matter tends to be, I highly doubt I'd want to participate.
You don't want to give money to neo-paganism, especially since he's basically pushing fucking psychedelics on people.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Ugh. Keep going.
I want to see this turned into a proper, full-length series, just as I always envisioned it as a child. I thank you again for watching and taking the time to enjoy this story with me. I hope that it was a fun ride, and here's wishing you a very happy new year.
So he basically wants to move into like psychedelic propaganda.
So what he wants to do is like mass produce animations, like with Hell of a Boss and Husband Hotel.
Which I'll just say, Hell of a Boss gets like 2 more seasons apparently.
Nice.
Oh, what's this?
Well, I just found like this random video, but it's the 11th episode of the Ninja series. But unfortunately, I can't find the original ones. They've been
that's actually really good.
Most of them have been lost to time.
Shit.
The quality is pretty good for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to go on my own, like a early 2000s like rant, and not even early 2000s, but like remembering the years before YouTube, right? Like the shit that we actually had to like install like $10,000, not kidding you, like $1,000 freaking like software, or pirate that shit. I didn't pirate back then, and I still don't pirate. And the reason I don't pirate, well, I used to. Well, I mean, we are pirates. We hang out with pirates on fucking Sundays. But in all honesty, I wanted to do shit like this, but I couldn't because I didn't have the resources. Now I have the resources. I could do it, and I have talked about making a story about my D&D campaign. I just don't know how I would do it, and I think I just need to sit down and actually do it, you know? That's what he needs to start doing as well. Because I'll be frank with you, there's no excuse. Everyone has access to automatic 1111. Everyone has access to fucking, you have fucking access to the ability to make the bird from Hell of a Boss talk, for fuck's sake. You have the ability to, like, literally copy, David Hayter's, like, Solid Snake voice. You have that ability. So there's no excuse anymore. Like, technology is no longer the lack of technology and funds. The only thing that matters is time. And this guy has, 1.2 million subscribers? He could do it. I could fucking do it. Anyhow.
I found it. I found the first episode.
Oh.
But I don't know if I should, but it's still fun. Like, there's the introduction sequences. If I could just... Oh, no. Let me reload this sucker. Videos and episode 1. Do you still work? forgot
we
all
gotta
about this.
We kind of have to save this shit just for it to. I don't know. We'll have our own early 2000s animation month. Maybe we'll do that for Black History Month just to fuck with the SJWs. February is early animation month, early 2000 animation month, and we'll fucking go through the shit as we go. But anyhow, Luke, final thoughts.
I had a wonderful clip save. It's been lost in one of the resets.
Aw, it's all good. But
I guess Happy New Year, everyone, and may we have it started with a little rough, but hopefully it gets better, because I want 2024 to be a year where there's actually something going on, something fun, not just reporting on the news, but making the news.
Well, we're gonna fuck with Charlie Kirk. I know that. We're gonna definitely troll the shit out of him, because we actually have the truth on our side, and we're not, contrary to what people might think, we actually aren't fucking leftists. We're right wingers, and if anything, we're neocons. I mean, I'm a neocon at this point. It basically means that you actually care about your country to the point where you're actually willing to act on the world stage and accept whatever people throw at you. And if you're doing something that makes other people not like you, especially the enemies of the United States, you're probably doing something right. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another. Take care of one another. We're in Digital Renegade Podcast Season 4. This is the best one. And Mitch, we're coming out. We're coming to get you on, buddy. We're going to get you on. We're coming to get you, buddy.